That's $10,000, Connor. Ha ha! Yeah! Yeah! This show is not for sharpshooters. This show is a fucking machine gun. There's no chewy center to this show. It's all hard candy. This show is not a sniper on a fucking roof. This show is a drone taking out a village. Do not invite me into your house because I will come in and I will wreak fucking havoc. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. It's a throwback show, folks. I'm going back to the old way of doing things where I just talk. And I know you're thinking every week this man just talks, but see, there's a science to it. Usually I'll come here and I'll vegetate and I'll sit there and I'll stare at Lily and we'll talk a little bit. Actually, a little bit is, I think that's an understatement. We talk for about an hour and a half before I do the actual show. And then I will plunge in and then I get into my head and I think things aren't right and then I got to stop and I got to talk to Lily and she's got to hold my hand and everything works out fine. In the end, everything works out fine and that's good. That's one approach. However, you know, in the old days, young Mike, carefree Mike, footloose and fancy free Mike, 40-year-old Mike. When the 40-year-old boy started, it was 40-year-old Mike. He was truly a 40-year-old boy. Now I'm a 46-year-old adolescent? Perhaps a toddler? Oh my God, let's change the title to 46-year-old toddler. Why not? Just me sitting here doing the show in rubber pants. God damn it, that's awesome. Do you remember rubber pants? They still use those on kids? I remember being a kid, and I mean, like when, you know, your babies or whatever. I didn't have babies as a kid, but I mean, my little brother, and they'd have to wear rubber pants. They put them on, did they go on over the diaper or under the diaper? Over, right? Because you had to wear a diaper and then rubber pants over it. And I'm sure there's some sort of grown-up fucking porn fetish for rubber pants that makes me want to vomit. Are you okay? You gonna spit soda? Wait, I had too close to home? Oh, no.
Holy shit.
Are you all right? Yeah, see, because the second it came out of my mouth, I'm like, I know somebody out there just jerked off to the words rubber pants. Oh, my God, rubber pants? Because, like latex I get, all right? And if you want to wear spandex or whatever the fuck skin-tight bullshit, but rubber pants, if you're an adult wearing rubber pants, get the fuck out of here. And I mean the earth. Just fucking go. Just check the fuck out with your weird fetish. Yeah, I'll jam feet in my mouth and that's fine and good. But man, you wear rubber pants? Fuck off. I'll put anything in my mouth. You know what? I will put anything in my mouth except one thing. Rubber pants. They're out. Can't do it. Can't be bribed. Can't be bought. Fucking grown-up rubber pants. That's awful. Any of that diaper fetish nonsense. I don't get it, scat. Fuck you, Chuck Berry. I'm just not into it at all. Don't care. Fucking you and Here Comes My Dinner and I don't give a fuck. Look it up, folks. You know what I'm talking about. Just Google Chuck Berry and now Here Comes My Dinner. Google that. See what comes up. I think there's actually images out there. Chuck Berry was R. Kelly before R. Kelly was cool. If that's cool. Are you? Is that a bad place? A no-no spot for you? That's your phrase. I took Lily's phrase, the no-no spot. So in the old days, like I said, I would just fire when ready. God damn it, I'd sit down at an open microphone and here we'd go. We just fucking unleash the bees and let everybody have it. But now I unleash the bees and then I corral them and then I sit here and I check my phone and then I unleash the bees and I corral them and I check my phone or I talk to Lily or I have a granola bar or 6. I've done because Lily, I'll be like, do you have anything to eat in this house? Anything at all? And she's always like, no, I don't. She's got Thin Mints from the Paleolithic era in her freezer for some reason. Lily is a Girl Scout person or a Girl Scout cookie person. She loves them, but then she'll buy them and then they're in her fridge for a year. Dude, I think we've talked about this. Like if I had Thin Mints in my freezer, I mean, they would be in my freezer long enough for me to close the door and open it again. That's it. And then I would pull them out. I would wolf the entire sleeve. You know what? I would take a sleeve of Thin Mints, open the top. I would put it in my mouth and pull out fish bones. That's how quickly I would devour fucking Thin Mints. God damn it.
I have to dole them out 2 a day for a year.
Oh, man, that's crazy. You should just load your freezer up. You know what? You ever see the fucking Nothing But a G Thing video?
Please do. Feel free to bring me back 40 boxes of
Everybody, go to Monday Night Teas this week and bring her fucking boxes of Thin Mints and fill up her goddamn fridge. Let's do it. Let's have the Thin Mints for Lily Drive. Let's do that. Can we do that online? Can you like credit somebody with it where you just buy stuff and ship them? We don't have to ship them. They're at every goddamn street corner for fuck's sake. But man, your fridge should be like, you should have a separate fridge just for fucking Thin Mints. Like I said in the Nothing But a G Thing video, and they open it up and there's just 40s chilling and the fucking smoke comes out. Dude, you should open them, just have fucking Thin Mints and not, you know what? Take them out of the boxes because there's more room. So you fucking take them out and just sleeves of, like the 40s in the Nothing But a G Thing video, you just fucking put sleeves of Thin Mints and pile them to the goddamn top.
Oh, I just came a little.
Yeah, see? Dude, that'd be like cookie Tetris.
Oh,
Like it would be in your fridge and every time you'd pull one out, it'd be like shunk, shunk, shunk. They'd fall down lower and lower. Oh my God. Dude, we must fill Lily's cookie Tetris refrigerator with Thin Mints. Do it. An online drive. Cookies for Lily. Because here's why I'm talking about just firing away and just talking, folks. Here's why I've just unleashed, and I don't think I'll corral the bees. I think we're going to go one take. What if we one take Jake this show? You think that can happen? I doubt it. I never get to one take Jake the show. I wish I could. We'd talk in real time and let it happen, but unfortunately I'd make poor Lily sit here and just fucking indulge me, not divulge me. Take that out. Already we stopped.
No, we're not
going to take it out?
Keep going.
All right. Fuck, God damn it, see? I said divulge instead of indulge. Normally that would be gone. You wouldn't hear that. That wouldn't hurt your ears. But now you're like, he used the wrong word. Because a lot of you people are thinking to yourself, God, how can you always come up with the right word at the right time? Well, maybe sometimes I don't. And unfortunately, sometimes I unleash the bees and they fly a little too far away and I can't control them and we get divulge instead of indulge. And nobody wants to have that, right? But instead, that's what you got. God damn it. Now I'm mad. Now I want that out. You know why I want it out? Because I said take that out. So now everybody's going to go, oh, he does that sometimes. He says take that out. I do. I take it out. But I've told you that before. Sometimes I do a fucking 15-minute show and go, stop it. We got to start over. She's like, what? Why? Because I'm fucking insane. That's why.
I feel that coming on, by the way, because I know this divulge is...
It's because it's terrible, isn't it? You know what? I tell you what.
It just drives you crazy.
Yes.
It's the name of the show.
What? Divulge, not indulge? Oh, indulge, not divulge. That's what the name should be. Indulge, not divulge. Jesus Christ. Just call it the fucking mistake show, because that's what it's going to be in my mind for the rest of my goddamn life. Remember that show where I made a glaring mistake? That's like I sell the Schmitty Comes Alive. If you go to, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you go to Joe Business, we sell a bunch of shit. Well, one of the things that we sell is the Schmitty Comes Alive download. And that was a one take and it was recorded live. And I didn't have Lily fix it or change it or sweeten it, anything. And so there's one point where I fucked up. Like the bees flew away and I didn't have control of them and I wound up trailing off. Like it's this thing where I became a homeless man all of a sudden where I'm just talking and then like literally just this sentence that means nothing. And I just went, I guess we gotta leave that in. And so, but here's my nod to it though. In the cover letter, when you buy Schmitty Comes Alive, it says this was recorded live and without any editing or sweetening, which you'll realize when you hear that one part where I said something that makes no sense. Like I still had to acknowledge it in the cover letter so people didn't think that I was so stupid that I didn't realize that I did it. Because I have to always be on top of it. Folks, I am a fucking mess. I got to fix me, right? Don't we got to fix me? I was talking to my brother the other day and I'm telling him something. I'm telling Lenny. And he's like, dude, you got to calm down. Like, you got to fucking, seriously. Because, all right, well, let's talk about this, folks. And I've told you this story, and I know you're tired of hearing it. Or maybe you're not tired of hearing it. Maybe you just, I bet, honestly, it's one of those stories. You know what? This show's like Rocky Horror now. Whenever I start a story about, anything that happened, you can just go ahead and chant along with me because you know what I'm going to fucking say. And just go ahead and throw toast at your iPod right now. Everybody throw handfuls of rice at your iPod vagina. I'll wait. Go grab it. Great Scott. So here's the thing, man. I'm at work the other day.
I love that you used Great Scott.
It's completely different. Well, I know. You throw the toilet paper for Great Scott, but I liked it because that's the exclamation. All right. Because I love that movie. I would go, we should organize a fucking 40-year-old boy, Lily.
40-year-old boy and Lily.
And Lily. Excursion to go see Rocky Horror.
Let's do it.
But you got to dress as Rocky.
Theater.
You need to dress as Rocky, right? Who were you when you went?
Columbia.
You were Columbia? Oh, that's perfect. You still got the outfit?
I think I still have the top hat and the tube top shirt thing. Yeah.
God damn it. That'd be awesome.
I don't think I can still wear it.
Yeah, no, you could.
I don't think I should.
No, I think you should. I think let's violate some obscenity laws for fuck's sake. Let's do it.
I'm more of a magenta now, though, I think.
What?
I have that whole outfit.
I could see you, but you could blow your hair out and totally do a Columbia. That'd be perfect.
We need to go finish the show.
Oh, come on. We got to do this. A snake-looking guy gave you an evil wink. He had the devil's eyes and a pickup truck. Not in that order. So, folks, what was I saying? So you just chant along whenever I have some story where I went fucking crazy. But unfortunately, it happens. And I'm trying to stop it. I swear to God, I'm trying to stop it. And I thought when I almost, fuck, whatever. All right, so I'll just tell you. I'll tell you. I'm at work the other day, and I was having a bad day. And again, it was a day of my own creation. It was a bad day of my own creation because I was in my head about a bunch of different things. And also, I don't want to be Travis Barbecue all the time. And so sometimes I was working 6 doubles in a row, which is cool because I need the money. But at the same time, I was in my head about, well, this isn't who you are. You're not the fucking double guy. You're not Barbecue Jones. You can't be doing this all the fucking time. So when you're in this weird echo chamber in your car and you're just talking to yourself all the time and you're doing stuff, I don't accept things very well. I'm supposed to, but I just don't. So I was building all sorts of tension in my head about a bunch of different things. And I was upset about, it was nonsense. Literally. And again, when I say I'm upset, it could be, it could be anything. Because I'll tell you this funny story. If you didn't get to hear the Players Club episode of Never Not Funny, I'm going to give something away. Something happened and we were talking about candy and I went, dude, fuck Snickers. And Jimmy's just like, why are you mad at Snickers? What do you mean fuck Snickers? And then I explained, which I've explained here on this show, that it used to be one long Snickers, but now they've put it into two and been like, oh my God, save one for later. And it's like, no, you just stopped putting that much chocolate and nougat in there, you motherfuckers. You're cheating me on chocolate and nougat. Fuck Snickers. And not essentially, and so then somebody yesterday was just like, why are you mad at like the Snickers itself? I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at Snickers. And Snickers are fine. It's the big Snickers that I'm worried about. People behind Snickers. The big Snickers conglomerate who has stolen nougat and chocolate from me, goddammit. That's who I'm mad at. So I'm on the show and I said, fuck Snickers. Dude, fuck Snickers. And Jimmy's like, why are you mad at Snickers? And Matt Belknap starts laughing. All right. And I think he's laughing at the Snickers thing. So then there's a pause and Matt Belknap goes, do you remember when you were mad at a paper towel? And I said, during the show, and he goes, yeah. He goes, there was a paper towel and it was, you could break it into 4 sections and you were pissed off at it. I go, yeah, because fuck that paper towel. I want a paper towel. I don't want a fucking, Voltron of paper towels. If I want one, I want one. Fuck you breaking off into 4. Hey, if I wanted 4, I'd get napkins, motherfucker. I just want a paper towel. And he just starts laughing. He goes, exactly. And I go, yeah, because fuck that, dude. Be a paper towel. That's what you were created for. Don't split off into 4. You're not fucking Kleenex. Be a goddamn paper towel and be proud of who you are. That's way too much effort, paper towel. Stand down. Stand down, paper towel, and sop up a spill. You don't need to branch off into doing 4 different fucking things. Just be one. And be proud. And it just made me laugh because I love the fact that you remembered it 8 years later. Do you remember when you were mad at a paper towel? And what's even better about that? It could have been yesterday. Yes, I was mad at a paper towel yesterday, goddammit. And yet, as you know, I will throw that paper towel into the garbage, not into the toilet, because toilet is for toilet paper, garbage is for Kleenex and paper towels. That's a higher class of paper product. I feel bad for it. I would never put a paper towel into the toilet. That's fucking horrible. That's mean. That's like some weird punishment. Paper towel has earned the right to be thrown into the garbage. So has Kleenex. Kleenex does a different job. Toilet paper, however, that's the lowest of the low. Toilet paper. I feel bad for toilet paper, but you know what? It's been created to be toilet paper. That's what it does. So it doesn't mind going to the toilet. It knows its lot in life. It knows its fate. But Kleenex and paper towel, they expect a little better treatment, and I don't blame them. But paper towel, you don't have to impress me by breaking off into fucking 4 sections, for fuck's sake. Just be one. All right. So my point is, and then our friend Jake, who listens to the show, listened to the Players Club episode, and I guess when he said to me, do you remember when you were mad at the paper towel? I went, dude, I've been mad at a lot of things. And Jake on the Westside 86 Jokers page just wrote, dude, I'm mad at a lot of things. Mike Schmidt summing up his life on the Players Club edition of Never Not Funny. Yeah, I guess. But I'm happy this week. God damn, am I happy this week. This is the best week in a long time. I love being happy. Happy's cool. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't be mad sometimes, but it's better to be happy, right? I don't control that. I don't control my head. My head does what it wants. Case in point. Last Friday, my head was roiling up a fucking hell broth of death. It was just like so angry and mad. It was so upset. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I was mad at this, and I was mad at money, and I was mad at also, and I was just trying to fucking make things work and move forward through my day. And then I'm at work during the day, and I walk in, I park, and I run inside to grab something. I'm only inside for 2 minutes. I went to get a drink and do something. And as I sit, I go to the counter, and the chef goes, hey man, you're getting a ticket. And I turn around, I wheeled, and I looked out the window, and sure enough, there's a woman writing, she's fucking, one of those parking idiots is out there giving me a ticket. And I fly out the door, and I run outside. And they go, no, hold on. I go, dude, I work here. There's a sign in my window that says delivery driver. And you know, I'm parked in a red zone. I won't lie to you. I am parked in the red zone right outside the door, because you pull up, you run and you grab your orders, you jump back in and you go. But I've gotten 2 red zone tickets already at my work. One in Santa Monica, because if there's nowhere to park, you just put your flashers on and you park and you run the food, and you have to. Otherwise, you're going to circle the block forever. You're delivering food. People expect it. So after I got those first 2 tickets, I was like, all right, well, fuck this. But Dude, I was parked for 2 minutes outside my restaurant. And here's the thing. The parking people eat at my restaurant. The parking enforcement people, the cops eat at my restaurant. All this shit happens. So I fucking park outside in the red zone, and the guy's like, dude, you're getting a ticket. I was there for 2 minutes. And I run outside. I go, no, dude, I work here. There's a sign. And she goes, doesn't matter, sir. I go, you guys eat here. She goes, this is my first time here, sir. I go, can you just give me a break? I'm moving the car right now. I ran inside for 2 minutes. And she goes, sorry, your number's already in the system. There's nothing I can do about it. I go, fuck you. You can do something about it. What are you doing? Because I was mad anyway. Because I had just seen a paper towel and a Snickers. So I was already ready to go. You all right? That hurt your throat? I'm sorry, baby. I don't know why I called you baby there. What the fuck am I? I'm Kojak. That's what I do. I'm sorry, baby. Or I'm Bob Zaney. Which means I'm going to be horribly unfunny for the next hour, and then I'm going to stiff you on something. He's a great guy. I'm sure he's terrific. All right. Take that out. We are not taking that out. We're not taking anything out. It's old school, baby. We're running downhill today. I'm just riding in a fucking cloud of bees and I'm destroying your fucking town. That's what I want to do. What if I made a carpet of bees and I flew on them? Oh my God, that'd be awesome. What? What story? The story about the bees? The carpet of bees? Dude, how great would that be? How ominous would that be? If you looked out your window and you saw me flying into town on a carpet of bees, dude, that'd be genius. I'll control the bees. All right, so I have no control of the bees. Again, like I said, they get away from me, as they did just there. So I yelled "fuck you" in this woman's face because I'm smart, and I'm just sitting there looking at her, and I'm seething, and I'm raging, and I will tell you this about myself, folks. You know, I get mad and I fly off the handle, and things happen. But I'm always me. I mean, I will hulk out sometimes and disappear for a little bit, but I always know that I'm me, and I'm always kind of in control of the situation. Well, I'm standing there, and I was like, fuck you, you can change it. You know you can change it. And she's like, sir, I'm sorry about that. And if you're in the system, I go, you're ridiculous. And I now work for fucking free today. This ticket's $100. I work for fucking free. A 12-hour shift. You just killed me. She goes, well, sir, you shouldn't park in the red zone. I go, where? Fuck, yeah, right, I get that. But I work here. You guys eat here. What the fuck? You can't do one thing? And I'm, loud, and I'm kind of yelling. And she's just like, sir, there's nothing I can do. You're going to get this ticket one way or the other. And I'm sure normal people at that point would be like, fuck. And they would resign themselves to the fact that they got a ticket. Here's what Mike does when Mike shows up. Mike turns around and there's a stop sign there on the metal pole. And I just, I attacked the stop sign. I mean, there's really no other word for it. I just started fucking blasting forearm shivers into the stop sign. Just like 4 times. And you can, if you run your finger over it, you can feel how swollen my forearm is. Yeah. It's all bruised. You can see all the bruises and stuff. Yeah, it's real. But I did it like 4 times, and I mean hard. And she, to the point where she stopped what she was doing and she backed away from me, because she wasn't close to me. It wasn't like she was in proximity. She was probably about 6 feet from me, but it was enough to make her put her machine down and walk backwards with her eyes on me and just go, sir, you need to stop that. You need to stop that right now. You're hurting yourself. And and she goes, and I hit it like 2 more times because I wanted the sign to come down. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to destroy the sign. I wanted to fucking tear. And I will not lie to you. I wasn't there. And it's the first time in a long time I wasn't there, where I went away. I lost complete control. I really did. And I fucking forearm shivered the fuck out of this thing like 4, 5, 6 times. And she said that, and she goes, sir. And I turned around and I go, what? Not in her face. Again, she's like 8 feet away from me now. But it was like, I almost felt spittle come out of my mouth. Like it was that fucking, what? And I wheeled on her, and I'm just looking at her, and I'm gone. I'm gone. I knew I was, but I was looking back on it. You know what I mean? And then she's standing there, and I walk over, and there's a mailbox. Blue mailbox. And, I'm not going to I'm getting nowhere with this stop sign, obviously. I blasted as much as I can. And I will say this, even as far gone as I was, my arm hurt. And I knew, and I didn't want to break my arm. It finally dawned on me, I'm like, no matter how many times you hit this fucking thing, you're not going to knock it over. You want to, but you can't. You're going to break your arm, though, and you have no insurance. You need to stop. So there's this little voice, like little me was inside of me. You know what I was? I was like fucking Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black 2 or whatever the fuck. When it was just like a little alien driving his fucking body, and he lived in his head. That's who I was, man. I was that little alien, and that was me. My conscience was still there. But my body was gone. Like I had no real control over it. And I've been like that a few times in my life. A lot, double figures, maybe triple, a lot. But I always come back quick. But this time I didn't come back fast. Like, I mean, I was blasting the sign and I was so mad. And she's like, sir. And so I walked away from her. I didn't know enough to do that, to like not, because I'd have walked toward her. I don't know what the fuck. She would have called somebody. Because I mean, look, I knew this. I'm not going to hit her or grab her. I know that. I'm in that much control. But I want to hurt myself. That's really all I wanted to do, is I wanted to hurt me. So I turned around and there's a mailbox there. And again, like I said, this stop sign was taking a beating. And but you know what? It lasted 12 rounds. I will not lie. That stop sign has got some balls, man. So I turn around, there's the mailbox. And because I'm smart, I tie kicked the mailbox. Which is a leg kick. Like you'd fucking whip your hip around and poof, it's not like a front kick or kick it like a football. It's a side kick, so your fucking shin lands on the mailbox. It's torque. It's like when you kick a heavy bag. It's in Muay Thai, and so I kicked it once, twice, and then I fucking kicked it a third time. And I just fucking I wasn't even thinking. All right, and then I just walk over, and then I walk back into the restaurant. And I'm still seething. And I start pacing back and forth in the restaurant, like just pacing. And I'm trying to deal with it. I'm trying to calm down, but I couldn't. It was weird. I was really gone. And finally I walked away, and then a delivery came up, thankfully. And I grabbed it and I got in the car. I grabbed the ticket and I crumbled it up and I just fucking threw it into my car, and I opened my door and I slammed my door as hard as I could, and then I opened it and slammed it. I slammed it like 4 times. I didn't get in. I just open it, slam, open, slam, open, slam, open, slam. And I got in the car. Then I opened the door and I got in the car and I closed it nicely. And I drove. And I had to go up, to take the delivery. I'm driving. And I went up, I get to a stoplight, and I'm seething, and I'm trying to, because I'm pissed that I know I'm working for free. It's $100, and there's nothing worse than having to pay for your own stupidity. And the thing is, I'm compounding it by hitting my arm and my leg into a thing, because I'll have to pay for that if I wind up damaging myself, even though that's all I wanted to do was hurt myself. And then I'm slamming the shit out of my door. So if I break my window or I fuck my door up or I fuck the frame up, well, that's more money I got to pay. But I'm gone. I didn't even think about it. I don't care. I didn't care. I just wanted to hurt myself. But then when I get in the car and I kind of calm down and I'm driving and I get to a stoplight, and I, in the theme of having no control over yourself, I just burst into tears. I just couldn't, I don't know why. It just happened. Like, it wasn't like, it literally was like this manic crying that just started spraying out of my head. I looked like I had a fucking garden sprinkler in my eye socket, and it was relentless, and it was cathartic. I will tell you that, because I was but I'm driving, and I'm at a stoplight, so I look over and I'm sobbing, and there's people just looking at me like, oh my, is that guy? Are you okay? Is he all right? So I looked at this woman and she's looking at me, and I'm trying to, and my chest is heaving and I'm sobbing and I'm like, ah, and she looks right at me and I'm just like, I nod. I'm like, ah, I'm okay. I'm not dead. I'm all right. But I just looked at someone who got the worst news they could ever possibly get. And I did. I was still me.
I wish they could have just seen your eyebrow. Oh. Oh, fuck.
So I'm there at the stoplight, and then I drove it off. I by the time I got back, I was calm. And then I went into the store, and there are girls who work there. And I think I've told you this before. One time I tried to drive my forearm into a cement wall, and I cut myself pretty good. And so I've lost it. I said Mike showed up. And Mike's shown up a few times at work. And so I went individually to all of the girls who worked there, and I took them aside, and I said, listen, I need to tell you that I'm really sorry about what happened today. And I said, this is the last time something like this happens. It just is. I recognize today that this is something I need to get a handle on, and it won't happen again here. And I apologized to the first girl, and she goes, I think you should probably apologize to, and she said the girl's name. She goes, she was really scared. And, you know, what's funny is there's part of me that goes, well, why the fuck were you scared? I mean, it's like, I'm outside, I'm beating up a street sign, I'm nowhere near you, nothing's going to happen. But in reality, you know, there are people who don't deal with rage. They've never seen that sort of thing happen. They've never seen someone go fucking crazy. Because I was crazy. I will not, there's no getting around it. I mean, I was gone. And if it would have been a dude doing the parking thing, you know, and he had a temper like me, I don't know what would have happened. Luckily, she was very nice and diffused the situation by stepping back and saying, "Sir, you need to calm down." You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Because if it would have been someone who stepped to me, I'd probably still be fighting. So I apologized to the kitchen and I apologized to all the individual people. And I took that girl aside, the one who was really scared. And I looked at her and I said, "Hey," I go, that's uncalled for. And she goes, "It's all right." And she's relentlessly sweet and really cheerful. And she's from a small town in the Midwest. And so, yeah, she's not used to that. And she's working. You shouldn't see that in a club. You shouldn't see that on the street ever. But to go to your job and not feel safe because there's some fucking psychopath there who's working, I mean, it's just crazy. It's a crazy thing. And it disappoints me that I did that, you know, but I also recognize that I did it and I accepted it and I owned it. And I told them I was sorry and I have to make sure it doesn't happen again. And it was so funny. I said to myself, I go, this isn't going to happen again. I go, this was really, this is to myself, not to anybody else. After I apologized to all those people, I had to apologize to the manager, the woman who works there. And also, here's the thing, you know, my brother's been there for like almost 9 years and he's great friends with everybody. And as is always the case, I think I've said this before, my brother is loved because he's a really good guy. He and I had our disputes and our differences, but that was, you know, rooted in our childhood and the thing that we had growing up. But he's a good person, and he's that guy who, when he walks, he's Norm from Cheers, but for the world. When he walks into a bar and everybody's like, "Lenny!" I mean, like they just love him because he's a fucking Saint Bernard. He's just a good guy, unless he's not. And with me, more often, he was not, because we had our thing. And we also grew up together, so he knew what buttons I had, and I knew what buttons he had, and so you just wind up pushing buttons over and over until someone wind up in a fucking collision, you know. And it's like, then, you know, the Hulk fought the Thing, and the city was ruined. So I took the manager aside, and she's a great friend of Lenny's, and I sat her down. I said, "You have a second?" She goes, "Yeah." And I went into the office. She didn't see it happen, and I said, "I'm sure you've heard that there was an incident." And I kind of lost control of myself. And she goes, "Yeah, I heard." And I go, "Well, listen." And I apologized to her, and profusely. And I said to her, I said, "I hope the 99% of the time I'm great around here makes up for the 1% of the time that everybody is scared. I scare the fuck out of everybody." And she goes, "It does." And it's you never want to have this discussion, but I've had it so many times. And someone goes, "This is really mature of you to come in and recognize this and be able to apologize." And I'm like, "Yes, but it's not so mature that this is probably the 100th time I've had this conversation with somebody in my life. You would think I would stop having this conversation by now." But again, that's not her. I said that, but then I'm like, why are you unloading this on her? She doesn't give a fuck. She just wants you to deal with this situation. So I did, and she was really nice, and she said, "We really like having you here. You have nothing to worry about. But at the same time, don't let it happen again." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And then I went outside, and I'm by myself, and I was nice. I stayed out of everybody's way. Tried to be as quiet as I possibly could. But then I wound up talking to myself in my head, and I'm having the conversation. I'm like, "You can't do this, man. You can't. You're really starting to fucking lose it." I mean, that was bad. That was really bad. And again, we're, you know, like I said, my arm is fucked up, but you should see my leg. You know what? I'm going to put up a picture. I put up a picture the other day of my leg. I'm going to take a better picture today because it is a million times worse. It's like I have a hematoma, like an egg on my leg. And it's just black and yellow and purple. It's gorgeous. So I'll put it up. Yeah, you know, I'll throw it up. But yeah, man. So I'm talking to myself. I'm like, "Dude, this can't happen. You can't have this happening. You got to make it stop." And I go, "Well, you know what? It's gonna stop. You know, you'll grab the reins here and you'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Especially over something so trivial and stupid. Like, you know, you gotta wait, man. you got other shit to deal with that you can get mad about, but you can't get mad about this. It's dumb. You're letting it bleed over into real life." And I'm like, "But that's not me. You know what? That's not me. I'm not that guy." And then literally in my head, a new voice came in because I'm saying, "That's not you. You're not that guy. You're not that person. You're going to change. You're changing." And then like a guest host came into my head and went, "Hey, aren't you the guy who almost beat up a grandfather in a grocery store a couple of months ago?" like, who are you? Get out of my head, guest host. I'm convincing myself I'm not that guy. You don't need to show up and tell me I'm that guy. I know I'm that guy. I'm trying to tell myself I'm not that guy. Like I've said, I do this podcast and I tell these stories about these things that happen. I wish there was a podcast about the victims of Mike, like the people all with their side. You know what I mean? The people who wound up having things. Like, look at that grandfather had a podcast and he's like, "You're not going to believe what happened this week. Some psychopath grabbed me in a Trader Joe's." Oh Christ! Like we should get all the girls at my work to have a podcast about. Hey, here's what Mike did this week. Oh my God, I was scared out of my mind. So it was crazy. So, but now things are fine. We're good. Everything's good now. I'm happy this week. This is a happy week. I'm even happier than I thought I would be. I got bonus happy this week, folks. That's amazing. How often do you get bonus happy? Getting back to why I'm here and I'm having to run downhill and we're not taking anything out of the show. We're just going is because our friend Lily, bunched up, producer of the show and great friend and therapist, is unfortunately ill. She is ill this week. Where we were supposed to go at 10 a.m. today, and then she asked if we could go at 11, and then traffic interfered, and I didn't get her until noon, I think. And so we're talking early, but here's the text I sent her. She sent, because I woke up and I got in the shower. I was ready to come here. It was 9:25, and then I grabbed my phone, and it said, sick, sleeping. Can we go at 11? Please. There was a please. Yes, it was, yeah. Believe me, I know the shape you're in, and a please was not necessary. And so I didn't answer her. I was like, yeah, cool. Because I figured she was sleeping, so I didn't want to text back. And then finally at 10:35, I said, how's it going over there, kiddo? You okay? We going to do this? And then she wrote back, yeah, I'm up and I'm ready. We can go at 11. And so I texted her and I said, medicine, juice, Thin Mints. And she wrote back, just get over here. LOL, LOL, just get over here. I've timed my medication to knock me out. We've got 3 hours. So thanks to germs, I have a hard out today. Because normally, I'm not kidding, I'm here 7 hours. We hang out, we talk a little bit, I do some show, I stop. It can be a leisurely pace. Because in the old days, it wasn't like that. When I would just come to her house, because her husband was there, and we would just knock shit out. I would do a show in real time, basically. If there were, sometimes I'd get stammering or stuck, and then we'd do something different. But now, because she's indulged me to the point where I know that she's so good at her job, I'll stop and go, yeah, let's do this, or let's change that, or I want to take that whole chunk over. Let's take that chunk over. I mean, it's just because it's created in the moment. But sometimes on the fly, you'll go, hey, I could have said that better. Let's go back a second. And if I make a verbal mistake, like divulge or indulge, it will bother me for 7 minutes. Yeah. And then at the end of the 7 minutes, I go, we have to take all this back. And she'll go, why? I go, because divulge and indulge. She'll go, you are crazy. And I go, yes, I know, but please do this for me. And she's like, all right, because it's her job to essentially do what I ask, even though it's not really. She can just tell me to get fucked and get out of here because she's not really a job. I mean, she's, one of the three-headed monsters. Or no, it's a monster with 3 heads. One of the 3 heads on a monster. Yeah, if you were a 3-headed monster and I was a 3-headed monster and Mex was a 3-headed monster, then the show would be a 9-headed monster.
No, it would be a 9-headed 3 monster.
Oh my God, it'd be a 9-headed 3 monster. It'd be a hat trick of monsters. We can't have that. This show's not that many monsters. There's only one monster in this show. As I've said, I'm the monster at the end of this show. I'm like Grover. Dude, don't listen to the end of the show. There's a monster at the end of this show. There's a monster on this show every week. There's a monster in my pants. And he does a crazy dance. When people see it, when he comes out to play, all the people stop and say, oh, no, a monster. Oh, no, a monster. Oh, no, a monster. Oh, gee, a great big monster.
I'm really happy right now.
Really? All right, well, good. I'm glad I finally found one you liked. There's a monster in my pants, and it does a crazy dance. Is that it? That's not a bad Fred Schneider. All right, so. Was it? Take it out. Take it out so I can put the good Fred Schneider in. That's what I need to do. Oh, Christ. See, why don't I bring the good Fred Schneider to town? You know what? Let's take it out, and I'll spend 2 hours practicing my Fred Schneider, and then we'll throw it into the goddamn show. Where's my Fred Schneider B? Where's my gay Georgia B? Get back here, gay Georgia B. All right. So, But here's the thing too. I put up the picture on Facebook about me kicking the mailbox. Dudes, I think I might save my rage from Mark Zuckerberg. That's what I might do. I'm going to have to save all my rage from Mark Zuckerberg because Facebook is just, it's just this, I mean, it's awesome and I love it. I love communicating with people and I love being there. But I put up the picture of my, here's what drove me crazy. All right, I put up the picture of my leg. And I don't have to put that up. I was just being silly and showing somebody something because I saw the bruise the next day and I was like, Jesus Christ. But some people are commenting and they're just like, well, you know, and everybody, it's America's open mic night. It's America's yearbook and everybody's on there and they're being funny. But then a listener whose name is, and I think I'm right. Is it Uncle Tito or Uncle Tico?
Uncle Tito.
Because it may be Uncle Tico Torres from Bon Jovi. It may be him. Because whenever I see Tito, I think Tico. But it may be Uncle Tito. And here's what Uncle Tico wrote. Uncle Tito wrote on my page. That's just sloppy technique. Obviously, Mike went to strike with the inside of his shin, but he led poorly, and then he wound up hitting his knee on the mailbox instead, and that's what happened. And I won't lie to you. I read that. And this is going to be a surprise. I was fucking furious when I read it. Because I was like, dude, wait a minute. You're criticizing my Thai kick technique. You've never met me. You don't know who I am. You're far away. You didn't see the incident when it occurred. And I actually started to post that. I was like, hey, man, my technique was fine. But unfortunately, kicking a mailbox is a little different than kicking a heavy bag. And then in my head, I'm like, why are you going to logically argue with this person? This is a guy named Uncle Tito. Why do you think you're ever going to have any sort of conversation with him that has any import on your life? So instead, I just typed, or, you know, I kicked a fucking mailbox. Shaped differently, a little different material than a heavy bag. And honestly, that's a torque bruise. Because I'll tell you what, I kicked the thing 3 fucking times. So I landed a couple of good solid ones. And yeah, maybe my knee made some contact. But it also could be a torque bruise, goddammit. Because you know what? The mailbox is shaped a little differently. And it set a reverberation through my fucking leg. And that's what happened. I get a fucking hematoma, an egg. I get all that bullshit. I'll show you. I'll put up a goddamn picture, Uncle Tito. How dare you criticize my mailbox kicking technique? I was kicking mailboxes before you were fucking born. And I will again. Sloppy. You know what? I'll tell you what. That's what got me was that word. Sloppy. If he would have said like, oh, you know, your technique was off, or maybe, you know what, you landed your knee first. If he would have been constructive about it. You know what, Uncle Tito? If you would have been a constructive coach, you're a terrible coach. You're the worst goddamn sensei I've ever had in my life. I can't believe I'm arguing with Uncle Tito. Long distance. But don't say sloppy. That's just awful. What are you, the sensei from Karate Kid? You're going to tell me next to sweep the box? Sweep the box, Mike. Get him a boxy bag. Sweep the box. But sensei, sweep the box. Oh, Daniel. Daniel LaRusso. We need to fight the skeletons. Ooh, that was scary. Dude, I can tell you this. I just heard a fucking old time radio show. And it was called Dark Fantasy or something. I don't know what it was. But I was just listening because I'm in the car fucking 12 hours a day. So when it started, it was like fun. I was interesting because I was like, this is really well written because it was a weird, nobody cares. But the best part is there was a Cockney guy in it and he was overselling everything because it's radio. So they're trying desperately to reach the back of your fucking house. They're like, Governor, there was a skeleton. It was all bones. Like he's just fucking dead. And I'm like, I wish I knew this guy. Like I know he's dead now, but it was so awesome. Right, good fucking skeleton, all the bones. He didn't say fucking. That's terrible. I will take this out. I don't want to even talk about it. All right, we'll leave it in. God damn it. See, the Cockney bee took over and look what happened. Ruined. My accent bees are not in line. You know what? My fucking impressionist bees are over. Fred Schneider, fucking Cockney pirate. I can't do it. You guys fucking pick up your game, damn it. You're out of the cloud. I'm kicking all the fucking impressionist bees out of the cloud. The accent bees are finished. Stay home. When I swoop into a town in a cloud of bees, the accent bees can stay home. That's just sloppy accent technique. Fucking Uncle Tito. That's just sloppy technique. You can't do that to me in a public forum. Uncle Tito, you insulted my family and the Shaolin Temple. All right. I went to the Monday Night Teas this week. Oh, you know, I'll talk about that later. Yeah, I got a hard out. I got a window. I got to get to my story. Because I actually have something to tell you guys this week. We're at 40? We're at 40, folks. And that's real time. We're just rampaging downhill. I'm going to squash Indiana Jones by the end of this show. Throw me the idol. Give me the whip. Folks, when this show's over, I'm going to run out the door and get into a plane piloted by Dan Aykroyd. Okay, so here's the thing. On the Westside 86 Jokers page, some people wrote some stuff, and they're like, hey, I think it was Mark, a listener, Mark. And Mark is like, Mike has always talked about these loose ends shows, like where he's going to tie up stuff that he hasn't talked about. And there's things that I'd love to hear about. And in truth, I should have just asked people for suggestions, but they started to make suggestions because Mark asked, and he was like, what would you guys want to hear about? Which is funny. It made me laugh. He was like, dude, I totally want to hear about the Public Enemy concert. And our friend Todd also wants to hear about the Public Enemy concert. But you know what, folks? We're not going to talk about the Public Enemy concert today. No, why would we? Then another person was like, I think it was Rich, who wrote Madonna. They wanted to hear about Madonna. And then someone else said, yeah, Madonna. And so, folks, we're not going to talk about Madonna this week. Eventually, I'm sure we'll get to it. But unfortunately, my material bee did not make the trip.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But another listener wrote down, and this is my favorite one because it's so vague. All right, because the Madonna one, you guys know kind of what it's about. And also the Public Enemy, you know what that one's about. But here's my favorite one, and it's super vague. And it's just a weird coincidence that he would mention it, because if you're, Lily will attest, I was going to talk about this last week and then wound up spiraling off into something else. I don't even remember what we talked about last week, quite frankly. Well, because again, the previous week we had talked about Natalie and not gotten to that, and so we had to update her and everything else. We didn't really, but we did. But this guy wrote on the wall, and I just love the vague statement, because it sounds like in a courtroom what they would ask you if you're testifying. But this is what he wrote: why did you spend 3 days in Louisiana last year? And the thing I love about it is it could be that he wants a story out of it, or he's genuinely concerned that maybe I did something terrible, or something awful that happened to somebody in Louisiana that he knows, and he wants to know if I was involved in it in some way. Why did you spend 3 days in Louisiana last year? Well, it's funny you would ask that, because now is the time for me to unleash this bee. Here's the the Louisiana bee. Take it out. Fuck. Name the show. Here's the Atlanta. Oh wait, take it out. The Louisiana bee. Fuck. That's the whole name of the show. Here's what happened, folks. Last year, I things were very different. Let's travel back in time. Let's travel back to last February. It's actually a year ago at this time. And I'll tell you why in a second. But I had some live shows scheduled. We were still working on The Big Angry and waiting for that to come out, but I had some live shows that were still on the docket, including one in Detroit. And I was supposed to be performing in Detroit. And I was advertising that show, and people were buying tickets, and it was going very well. And then one day, I think it was it a week before the Detroit show? It might have been 10 days before. I get a phone call, and it's from our friend Chris Mancini, who, by the way, let's talk about this for just a second. Let's congratulate them and thank you, because they funded the Earbuds movie on Kickstarter. They made their goal, and they're going to make the movie. I am, quite frankly, astonished that it happened, because when I saw it, I was excited for them, and I wanted to back them and help them and support them, but I thought there was no way in hell they were going to make it. And you guys stepped up. You guys, listeners to their show, all sorts of podcast people. It's truly, I don't want to say a cult. I mean, it's just a following. I mean, all you guys are into it, and you really want it to happen, and so you made it happen. You fucking made it happen for those guys. So congratulations and thank you. And I'm looking forward to see what they come up with. But I did not think they would fund it, but they did, and good for you, and good for everybody who's going to be involved. So I get a phone call from Chris Mancini. And Chris is a good guy. We've been friends since I moved to town. He used to book a show at Borders Bookstore, and he would have me on there to do stand-up all the time. And we became friends as well, but also he took a shine to me, and he thought I was funny and a good guy, and that turned out good. So we became friends as well as just someone who booked me, having him be someone who booked me. And so one time he was filming a short called Hit Clown, And it was about a clown and a hitman who wind up having something happens and they switch roles. The clown becomes a hitman, the hitman becomes a clown, and they're both much happier. Well, in the short film, and the girl who played Jan Brady in the Brady Bunch movie was in it, and Jay Johnson was in it from Mr. Show, and it was just, so it was a nice piece of business. It was a nice short film, I guess you would just say. I think it's like 8 minutes long. And he asked me to be in it. He cast me, and I was a bookie who was going to get murdered. And so I showed up, and this is really crazy, Fat Mike. And I show up, and I'm writing on a chalkboard. This is my favorite part because I'm a jerk. I'm writing on a chalkboard, like I'm writing bets down, and then the woman, the Jan Brady chick who switches, she's the clown who becomes the hit woman, and I turn around and she's got a gun on me, and I blow her a kiss because I think it's ridiculous that she has a gun, and then she shoots me, and I'm squibbed up, and I get to bleed and fall down. It's great. I get to die on screen. I think it's on YouTube, or you can go to Chris's site and watch it. I don't know. If you want to see really fat me fall down, go ahead and check it out. But the best part is when I'm doing it, he's directing me, and there's the board where you can write stuff. And he's like, I said, hey, do I need to write anything specific on the board? He's like, no. He goes, just, you're basically writing bets. So if you look, every take I write something different, and the one that made it into the movie is Mr. Blonde. Like I'm writing Mr. Blonde in the spot, and I actually get and so whenever there's a shot behind me, you can see that I've written things like Mr. Blonde, and that all these, it's just, it was for me. It was totally for me. So Chris and I had a history over that. He worked with me, and so he calls me out of the blue last year. And he goes, hey, this is a weird phone call. I said, all right, what's up? What are you doing next week? And I said, well, the same thing I'm doing every week, hating myself. I should throw that in because I was talking about the story. I never finished that. I was talking to Lenny, and this is after what happened with me kicking the mailbox and punching the sign and stuff. He's like, dude, you got to calm down. You really do, because this isn't the first time this has happened, and you're scaring the girls. I'm like, yeah, I know. I go, that's fine. And he's like, but I don't even know why it's happening. I go, I don't know either, dude. And he goes, you got to just tell yourself that it's going to be fine. I go, fuck that. I go, you're in an echo chamber all day, just fucking talking to yourself in the car. And he goes, yeah, but you're so settle some things. And I go, dude, I'm in the car with me. I hate me. I don't want to be with me all day. And he fucking spits soda out. And he's like, yeah, no. He goes, I know that. And he goes, for a few years, I was a real prick. And I went, for a few years? And he goes, to myself. And I go, all right, to yourself, that's fine. I'll accept the time limit. So Chris is like, what are you doing next week? I said, well, I have a show in Detroit. And he goes, all right, here's the thing. Now I'm going to tell this story, and it's Chris's story. So I won't go into it, but I'll tell you exactly, what he told me. And he may have talked about this on Comedy Film Nerds already. I don't know. But Chris is like, here's the thing. I sold a horror movie script to a production company, and he wanted to direct the movie, and it turned out they went in a different direction. So he sold the script, and then that was fine. So what happens in this business, if you sell a script and you're not involved with the project anymore, you're just done. You get a credit on it, but you get your money and you're out. You don't get any say in it. You don't get to call them and go, hey, what's going on with my movie? It's not your movie anymore. They bought it. It was product you sold. That would be like a restaurant calling them and going, hi, how was that sandwich? You know what I mean? It's like fucking stupid. So you sell something, and it's the weirdest mindset, and it's a hard mentality to get into, churning and burning. Just giving content, and then it goes off into the ether, and you've got no say in it. You've got nothing to do with it. So Chris sold the movie and didn't get to direct it, so he kind of divorced himself from the project. So a few months later, I don't know how long really the time frame is, you'd have to ask Chris, but he gets a phone call, and it's a production company. The production company is After Dark Films. And they write him, or they call him, and they go, hey, can we take a meeting with you? And he's like, sure. What's up? And they go, well, just come on in. And he's like, well, am I coming to the office? And they go, no. Meet us there's a restaurant bar downstairs. Let's meet there and we'll talk. So he thinks that's kind of ominous, because if they're having a meeting, it would be in the office. So it was not formal. So he goes, all right, sure. He shows up at the restaurant or bar or whatever it is, and he goes to meet with them. And again, it's Chris's story. I don't know who was at the meeting. I know who was in charge of the movie. And it was Lauren and Stephanie and Stacy. They were all like the executive producers and the production manager and all that stuff. So he meets with people from After Dark Films, and he sits down, and they're like, hey, we wanted to talk about Asylum, which is the name of the movie. He's like, all right. And I'll just tell you this exact, in Chris's words. They looked at me and they told me that they had sent the movie to Bulgaria to be filmed, or some area. And literally, they sent it to a Garia. Like, I don't know if it was a Bulgaria or a Log-area, whatever the fuck is out there. They sent it to some Eastern European nation because they could save money. There's no union. It's all fucking cheap. So they cast Stephen Ray in the movie. He's from The Crying Game and a million other projects. You'd recognize him immediately. But he's the star, and then there's a bunch of no-name people. And then they use a bunch of local actors from fucking Zagreb, or whatever the fuck. So here's the way it worked. They said, yeah, we sent it out there, and we had a director, and we had a producer. And the producer went rogue. And Chris is like, I'm sorry? And they go, well, he just started shooting what he wanted. He didn't follow the script. He just started to dream stuff up and rewrite things on set. And he would tell the director what to do, and then they made the movie they wanted to make. They didn't follow the script at all. They didn't do what we wanted them to do, and they were far away. And we tried, there was I think it was like a $2 million budget.
Wow.
And they spent, or maybe even $1 million, but it was going to be a horror movie, because After Dark specializes in these After Dark films, lost originals or whatever, and they make horror movies, low budget horror. So they have it's a series that they call it. I can't remember what they call it. After Dark's something horror, or late horror. So it was going to be one of those, and the producer and the director just decided, fuck your script. We're going to do whatever we want. And Chris is like, that's fucking crazy. Like, how does that happen? And they go, well, he was over there, we were over here, and we would send him stuff, and he just started, we didn't really get the dailies, and I don't even, again, I can't explain it. I don't know. Chris knows. And I don't even think they did a very good job of explaining it to him. But it sounds like this guy just went, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. And he took their money, and he hired who he wanted, and he made the movie he wanted to make, and completely ignored their script. Because Chris wrote a script about it was a haunted insane asylum. And something happened, and real people had to go in and tackle the dangers of what was going on. But this guy added this religious element and all this fucking undertones of God and Jesus, and what the fuck? He just went crazy. So they said to Chris, they're like, so it's not the movie we intended, it's certainly not the movie you intended, and it's not the script that we bought. So we'd like you to try and fix it. And he's like, what do you mean? They said, well, we have the footage, we have the movie, and we think it's unreleasable the way it is. So we want you to go in and do what you can to try and fix it. He's like, but I don't even know what that means. Like, would he? And again, I'm like, is Chris going to have to go to Bulgaria? What's he going to do? And he goes, I'll need to see the footage. And they go, all right, well, we'll give you the footage. And Chris looks at me and he goes, I watched it. And he goes, Mike, it's like a fever dream. I don't know what this guy was thinking, what he was doing. I don't know why he thought it was going to be good, but it's just, there's all this Jesus and the devil, and he makes the devil's there, and it's insane. And I said, so what are you going to do? And he goes, well, here's what I did. He goes, this has been happening for a couple of weeks. And I pitched them, and I told them, all right, here's how we fix it. We make it a comedy. And they're like, what how? And he goes, here's what I did. And Chris wrote another script, and he called it Death of a Horror Movie. And they would use the existing footage of Asylum, but it would now be a movie about a production company run by a fucking clueless idiot who sends his movie over to Bulgaria to be made. And then in the States, them getting the dailies back and watching it and going, oh my God, this is fucking terrible. So it would be a movie about a production company making a terrible movie that actually contained the terrible movie. So essentially like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, but a real one. It wasn't three guys on a spaceship. It was like real life people dealing with a shitty movie that they paid to have made and wondering how they were going to fix it. So it was a very meta look at how to do it. And they're like, well, how would you do that? And he's like, well, here's the thing. And so he decided he was going to cast a bunch of people as production executives in film. And he said to me, so there's a part for you. I'm casting Dean Haglund in it. He's going to be the production executive, and there's all these people. They have local people they want involved. I go, well, local people seem to work out on the original production, so why wouldn't you do that? And he's like, well, no, it's in Louisiana. That's where they do it. And I go, what do you mean it's in Louisiana? He goes, yeah, I think you would have to go to Louisiana. I said, whoa, dude. I said, I have a show in Detroit. He goes, I know, and that's why I'm asking you. He goes, if you can't get out of it, I understand. He goes, but I want you and Graham. Here's the part you'll play. You and Graham will be the editors. And so while there's other production company stuff that you'll be involved in, your main role in the film is you and Graham will be the editors. And over the actual footage of the horror movie, we will hear you making fun of what's going on screen. I said, well, did you wrote all that? And he goes, no. He goes, I want you to come up with like, I'll send you the movie, watch it, and destroy it. I just want you to destroy it while it's happening. You guys will make fun of it, and then we'll just fire away. And he goes, now I'll tell you this, you might not have to go to Louisiana. You might be able to do it here in a voiceover booth. He goes, so I want you and Graham to do it, and just the two of you would be making fun of this movie, and then I would intersperse that with the other things that I'm filming. I said, man, dude, I said, if you do it in LA, I can definitely do it. I said, but going to Louisiana, that's I have a show in Detroit. And he goes, I understand that. He goes, let me find out from them exactly what they need done, but I would really love to have you involved. And I said, well, dude, to fucking do a movie, of course I would do it. And I'd love to work with you and Graham. I go, dude, me and Graham would be fucking hysterical. That'd be the best. He goes, yeah, I know. So let me figure it out. Because the thing is, I always make Graham laugh. That's the thing is, I know I can make Graham laugh and Graham can make me laugh. So I said to him, I go, is it like just dry? Or are we reacting? Can we laugh at our stuff? And he goes, no. He goes, I want you guys to be fucking as if you were sitting in your house making fun of a shitty movie. That's the feel I want. I said, great, I can do that. Fuck, I do it all the time. So he said he would check with them. And so I started to call the venue in Detroit and figure out a way that I could change things around and have to cancel. And I didn't want to. And I called Brown Paper Tickets because I was going to have to refund everybody's money, or they could keep it toward whenever I booked the next show. It was just, but I didn't care. I put the wheels in motion because if I was going to do this, fuck it, I was going to do it. How do you say no? How do you say no to that? So Chris called me back. He goes, dude, we would definitely need you in Louisiana because I would be filming you also in some scenes. So we would have to have you there. I said, when do you need me there? He goes, next weekend. He goes, you would go. It'd be like, you'd get there Thursday night. You'd be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'd fly home Monday. I said, I'm in. I'll make it happen. So I canceled the Detroit show. I called the venue. They were really cool. I was able to reschedule it for May because this was last March. This was like March 6th. So like I said, it's a year ago. And so I was in a fucking movie. I was cast in a goddamn movie. So Chris is like, let's have a meeting at Starbucks and we'll talk about what I want to do. So I go to the meeting at Starbucks and it's me and Graham. Or I'm sorry, it's me and Chris and Dean Haglund is there. And if you don't know Dean Haglund, he was one of the lone gunmen on the X-Files. And then he got his own show, The Lone Gunman. He's one of the guys. He's got long blonde hair. He looks like Geddy Lee. He's a Canadian guy who looks like Geddy Lee. Oh my God, and I know Dean, okay? Before I moved to California, he came into the Funny Bone in Chicago, and he did his improv show because he does a full-on one-man improvised show that he creates with audience members on stage. And it's fucking amazing to watch. So I knew him from there, and he was really cool and really nice. And then whenever I was in LA and I ran into him, he was super great and real supportive, and he thought I was funny. Again, just a nice guy. So we go to a coffee, and it's me and Dean and Chris. And I'm like, what time's Graham getting here? And he goes, well, we got to talk about that. I'm like, what? And he goes, well, Graham can't do it. I'm like, oh, dude, why? And he goes, well, he's got a show scheduled, and he can't get out of it. He tried to. I go, dude, but it would be perfect. Graham and I making fun of a movie because I could make him laugh. It'll be hysterical. He goes, well, the movie company also has some ideas. So, I got you. And Graham has this thing and he couldn't get out of it. And I could have fought for Graham. And he goes, but they cast their own guy. I'm like, why did they cast a guy? He goes, well, they are the fucking production company. They have ideas of who they want to use. So that's why they're using local talent in Louisiana. And I go, well, what are they doing for me? And I go, I don't even know. I haven't talked to them. What am I making and all that? He goes, well, you'll figure all that out with them. He goes, talk about your travel, talk about hotel, talk about, because I'm pretty sure they're taking care of everything. And I go, well, Chris, they have to, or I'm not going. I said, I can't fly myself to Louisiana to be in a movie and then, cancel a show on top of it. That's fucking ridiculous. He goes, no, they'll take care of it. It's just right now, everything's happening super fast. So I think their last priority is getting all of the actors housing. I go, but they're just trying to make sure everything is working. I said, okay, I'll trust you on this. So we talk, we bang the script around a little bit, what he wants to do. And, he goes, here, and he hands me the DVD of the movie. He goes, so watch the movie and you'll get an idea of what it is. I said, great. So I took the DVD and we had dinner and a coffee. And then he goes, they've cast a guy. His name is Ted. And I said, all right, that's cool. He goes, now Ted is more of a writer than a performer.
Oh, no.
I said, okay, well, that was smart to cast him in a film then. He goes, no, they know him. He goes, he went to Tulane, so they all know him from Louisiana. And I guess he has some connections with these people because they're all from Louisiana. And they knew him from like improv groups down there and stuff. So he's that guy and they have a comfort level with him. And I'm like, all right, is he funny? And he goes, I haven't met him. He's coming to coffee. I said, okay. Ted shows up. He's got to be 22. He meets us. We get coffee. We sit down, and the four of us start talking about the script. And Ted is a nice guy, really good kid. But I can see already that he's not me. And I'll be really honest with you, nobody's me. But Graham is me. You know what I mean? Like it's ping pong. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if Ted has a paddle, because he's seen the movie and he's got some ideas for his bits and he's starting to give them. He's talking about them and I'm like, I would rewrite that, or it's not written as cleanly as I'd like. But I mean, again, it's not my job to rewrite his jokes. And he's talking about it and he's pitching some stuff. And I haven't even seen the movie yet. So I mean, I said that's fine. I'm sure it's great. It's going to be great. And Chris is like, well, I wanted you guys to meet because you're just going to be bouncing off one another. And in my head, I'm like, I can't bounce off this guy at lunch. I'm going to bounce off him in a fucking sound booth. But I can make it work. I'll just be funny and hopefully everything will work out. So he was like, all right, we're gone. We're in. I was going to say we're good and we're done. Take it out. We're done. So we finished lunch and he's like, watch that movie and take a look at it and we'll see what happens. And we're flying next week. Make sure you contact them. So the first thing I do is I get home and I straighten all that out. I straighten my travel out. I tell them what I need. I go, look, I have a plane ticket already. You can pay to change my flight from LA to Detroit and just make it like LA to Louisiana or route me through Detroit, however you want to work it. And then I need a hotel room. You got to do that. I go, it's just, all this stuff. And then, we're talking about salary and figuring it all out. And at first they were kind of hinky about the paying for the flight and figuring, and I go, no, you don't understand. You have to. I mean, I was already flying to Detroit and canceled a show to do this. And it was all done via email and it was done very professionally. It's just they had questions. And I'm like, me, I'm not good at being fucking questioned. It's like, dude, do you want me in this movie? If you do, I'm great. So fucking book me and make this happen. Me, the guy you've never heard of in your life. But I tell you this, I'm not Bulgarian. How does that work? By the way, I don't even know if Bulgaria is a country anymore. I have no idea if it was then, if it is now. I don't know. They were working in an unincorporated area of Romania. Is that a country? I don't know. Was Ceausescu involved? He may have been. They're greasing local politicians to fucking ruin a script. I have no idea how it works over there in Bulgaria. Thank God I'm not having to fly to Bulgaria. Imagine that conversation with those people. Do me a favor, fly me to Bulgaria, route me through Detroit. Better yet, let's just film in Detroit. That's America's Bulgaria. Let's just fucking do that. Believe me, I get off the plane in Detroit, I look around, I'm like, holy shit, Bulgaria? I'm standing on the tarmac in Detroit and I'm waiting for Mel Gibson to drive by with Humongous chasing him. It's fucking brutal. That's the Ayatollah of rock and roll, folks. Really? Yeah, that is. It's the Lord of the Wasteland. Actually, no, that's the God of Thunder and rock and roll. The God of Thunder is in Detroit Rock City.
Oh, Christ.
He feels uptight on Saturday night. Fucking Kiss. I can't believe they're doing that. Did you see what they're doing? Kiss made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I was so excited. I'm like, dude, play Ladies' Room. Play something stupid. Play one of your awful songs. There's a song called Charisma Gene Simmons wrote, and literally the words of it, what is my charisma? What is it I've got? What is it about me that gets you so hot? And it's like, dude, really? You're writing that song about yourself? What a dick. And yes, he is a dick. That's fine. But I want him to do Charisma at the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So this week, listen to, dude, you know who I wanted to see get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Kiss, Guns N' Roses, and Van Halen. Van Halen gets in. Sammy Hagar shows up with Michael Anthony, and they make jokes at the podium and they don't play. Because Eddie and Alex wouldn't come if Sammy was going to be there. And Dave wouldn't come if Eddie and Alex weren't going to be there. Because they're fucking children. Yeah. Because they've lived their lives as rock stars, they don't have to fucking have any rules. And they recognize the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a fucking joke. It's just like a building with plaques. Believe me, they've carved out their own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But so Van Halen didn't go. So then Guns N' Roses, they go. Who doesn't go? Axl. He writes a letter. I'm not going to go. So the rest of the guys go, and then they perform without Axl. And they have that sound-like dude from Slash's band. And again, that's fine. But it's like, that's who I wanted to see go in. So now Kiss was the final one. That was the one I really wanted to see. Because, again, to see them 8 feet tall in their monster makeup as fucking Tom Petty tries to play a song around them, that would be, because that's the whole thing, is there's that jam session at the end. And I wanted to see who's going to present them and play their songs. And also, there's 1,000 guys who've been in Kiss. Kiss at this point is just, they should just throw a case of paint on the stage and induct that into the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because that's what's getting in. Set off a flash pot and throw a big thing of paint on the stage and just go, yep, there you go. Now you guys are in. Because Gene Simmons this week and Paul Stanley announced that Kiss is not playing at the induction ceremony because they don't want to play with Ace and Peter. They planned on going with Eric and Tom. Is it Tom Thayer? I think so. Tommy Thayer is the new guitar player and Eric Singer's the drummer. So they were going to play with them. And then Ace and Peter, the fans are like, we got to play with Ace and Peter. Ace and Peter have to be there. And so Gene and Paul this week announced that we recognize that everybody wants this and some people want that, but the way it works is we're not going to play because it just seems like too complicated a situation. No, it isn't. How complicated is that? Have Halloween one more time, paint your fucking face, and play with your ex-friends. That's it. Go up and sing Strutter one last time with Ace and Peter. Do one goddamn thing for your fans. One thing. And again, I'm always about letting performers do what they want. Like I said last week, it's like you can't heckle these guys because they're doing their thing. And KISS continues to play, and they continue to play farewell shows and whatever the fuck they want to do. And we support them. We give them our money, and that's great. But dudes, there's a thing called the KISS Army. There are people who've been in the KISS Army for 30 years, 40 years. And they've supported you. They voted you in to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Put on your fucking costume. Paint your goddamn face. Go out and be a musical. Because you're already a whore, Gene. You're already a whore for everything. I'm mad that Paul's in on this. That's what pisses me off. Because, you know, I think Paul should look at Gene and just go, dude, once. One more time. And I will say this. If Ace and Peter are willing to play with Gene, but Gene isn't willing to play with Ace and Peter, that tells me a lot about how terrible Ace and Peter must be. Because if they're willing to be in a room with fucking Gene Simmons one more time, who is just the walking image of horribleness. I mean, he's just terrible. But I love him because, again, at the same time, it's like I have quotes from him on my computer because they're fucking great because he's no nonsense. He's just a fucking walking slap in the face. That's who he is. And he also thinks he's the greatest thing that ever fucking lived, which is fine. I go for that. That's good. Do your thing because that's what you got to be. Dude, if you're going to dress up like a demon at 65 and run around in dragon boots, you better think pretty highly of yourself. You can't be KISS with a wink. There's no such thing as KISS with a wink. You have to take that fucking seriously. That's why Paul sounds so ridiculous, because he's out there taking it seriously that he's the fucking greatest lover in the world and he's the star child, and he's doing that on purpose because he can't portray that he thinks he's ridiculous, because then the whole thing falls apart. KISS is a goddamn house of cards. And it's all face cards because it's all paint. So they announced this week that they're not going to fucking play. And because I wanted to go. I was going to try and marshal my friends into going to see it, because how great would that fucking be? To see fucking Gene and Paul and Ace and Peter and Eric and Tommy and Crosby and Stills and Nash all on stage at the same time? Wouldn't you want to see Neil Young come out and play Plaster Caster? Yes, you would. Because that's part of the rules. The other Hall of Fame people have to play with the other Hall of Fame people. I would go just to see if Alice Cooper showed up and killed everyone. You selfish pricks. You selfish fucking pricks. Play 2 fucking songs with those junkies and never see them again. Because I got news for you. No matter what, their name is going to be on your fucking plaque. They were the originators. They were with you in the fucking band. Peter answered the ad in the fucking New York, whatever the fuck, that said drummer willing to make it, do anything. You know what I mean? Well, actually, Peter didn't answer that ad. He placed that ad. Yeah. Peter placed that ad and they found him. And then Ace walked in and auditioned. And then Steve showed up. Here's more about the history of KISS. Right now there are hardcore KISS fans going, who is Steve? Well, here's what I was going to do. I was going to say, because then Steve showed up. And then Andy. Yeah. And then Mick. Okay. Well, all right, fellas. That's my favorite tweet of all time, by the way. Did I ever see it? I tweeted it and I wrote, are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah. Mick? Okay. Larry? I think so. Jim? Maybe. Ron? All right. And then I just wrote sweet before the plane crash. How does that get no traction? Sweet's final rehearsal before the plane crash. Because the other 3 dudes died and they had to take them out of the song. Nobody? Dude, when I thought of that, I laughed for an hour. And then I typed it and nobody cared. Isn't it terrible? I'm on Twitter. I get followers. I'm almost at 3,000 followers. And that's all, that's all hard work, folks, by the way. I don't buy followers. I don't try to convince anybody. I mean, I plug it and tell you about it. But fucking, I've not gone out there and been, please follow me. It's just how it happens. People fucking gravitate to me because sometimes they see a funny thing I did. But I can't get any traction where stuff gets retweeted a bunch of times. And I put some fucking genius out there, goddammit.
You need to do like the Nerdist does. Send a tweet out right now and then tell everyone that they have to retweet that tweet.
Like what like that hashtag game they do?
Hashtag thing. So if
Yeah.
you tell your people there's a tweet coming out, it's going to be about this. You have to retweet it. Then you get the army behind you, and then it's
That sounds like a lot of work. Why do I have to tell people? Don't you know I'm great already?
Your homework this week is to retweet everything like this week until next week's show.
Well, I've been doing those good morning things too. Like I tweet those, and they make me laugh. But then again, and on Facebook, America's Yearbook, everybody leaps in and whatever. Who cares? Yay, we're all friends. All right, so fucking Gene, I can't. I'm just so mad at them because I wanted to go to be in the room when it happened, and just to see them play with the fucking and to see him spit blood at the Hall of Fame. How do you pass up the opportunity to spit blood in Joan Baez's face? I have lived my life waiting for that opportunity, and you pass it up? It's presented to you on a golden platter. Hey, do us a favor. Paint your face like a demon, put on a stupid leather outfit, and come and spit blood right in Joan Baez's face. It'll be awesome. Dude, haven't you ever wanted to spit fire at Janice Ian? Why are you turning this opportunity down? I made the move at 17. Someone, stop, drop, and roll. Put Janice out.
Oh my God.
Janice Ian is on fire. Janice Ian is on fire. Please, when you text to the stage, Janice Ian is on fire. Oh, man, that's great. Don't get in the way of the demon, Janice. You get in the way of the demon, you get the flames. Don't you just once want to see Paul Stanley yell, "People!" and nobody cares? Just a room full of industry fucking moguls who are just like, what? Really? You're doing this again? That would be worth it to see that. Oh, God damn it. All right, so. I say they come and they show up and Ace and Peter just go rogue. Ace, you know what? If you don't want to perform, motherfuckers, Ace and Peter show up in costume. Show up in fucking costume. Just do it. And because I only because I want to see the security guy go, who are you guys? We got inducted. We're Ace and Peter from Kiss. Can I see some ID? ID? I'm wearing it, motherfucker. I'm the spaceman. Look at my face. You think anybody looks like this? Goddamn spaceman. Peter Chris, just a broken shell of himself. Can't even turn a doorknob anymore. His hands are so arthritic. They have to do it. Just show up in costume, Ace and Peter. Just one up Gene this last time. Wear your costume and wear the good costumes. Wear the Destroyer costumes. Although I got to be honest, I enjoyed the Dynasty costumes. I loved them. God, the Dynasty costumes are great. I love the Dynasty cover. They should just put the Dynasty cover in the fucking Hall of Fame. It's so good. Stared at it forever. Still do. Still do. Not even a joke. Jellyfish wrote a song about it. They wrote a song about that cover. Jellyfish, again, as if I didn't love Jellyfish enough, they wrote a song about the fucking Dynasty cover. He stared back with his green Crayola eyes. It's about Peter from the fucking Dynasty cover. Shot by Francesco Scavullo. And shot individually and then pieced together. The four of them were not in the one shot. He shot them individually and then he made it work as a composite photograph.
None of them wanted to be in the same
Nope,
movie.
couldn't handle it. Gene said, I'm sorry, we cannot show up to take a photograph with Ace and Peter.
Oh, man.
Maybe we get Francesco Scavullo to film the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he films Ace and Peter somewhere else in front of a green screen and then he photoshops them in. It's perfect. Ace's house just burned down. Like it was like a couple months ago. Ace Frehley's house burned down, and I'll be honest with you, it's like Ace is famous because he's in Kiss, and they're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But also, it just seemed like, is that really news that Ace Frehley's house burned down? Isn't that really just something we all expected to happen at some point? Weren't people just sitting around going, I can't believe Ace Frehley's house hasn't burned down just yet? Because it has figuratively, but now I'm glad it did literally. Oh, I'm not glad it did literally. Although I will be honest, it was like quite a release because I was waiting for it to happen. Oh, God. Like all of you. So why did I go to Louisiana for 3 days? I had to film a movie. So I negotiated with them and I got it all straightened out and they routed my ticket and it turned out that I got to go to Louisiana. So I told Lily and she was excited about it and I was excited and the people from Detroit understood. And so I got on a plane and I went. And I wound up in Louisiana. And it's funny because then I landed. I didn't tell anybody because I was also told this by Chris Mancini. Don't tell anyone. And I got to be honest with you folks. I am I am really bad at don't tell anyone. I am so bad at it. I am not. I'm not. I mean, I can keep a secret. I just don't want to. But I did. But still, I got off the plane and I got into the airport and I walked out and I took a picture of the sign that said "Welcome to Baton Rouge" and I tweeted it. I put it on like my Facebook page. It said "Welcome to Baton Rouge," and people are like, I think someone just posted question marks. Like, what the fuck? Why? But I can't talk about it, folks. Until now. So I show up and I get to the hotel. And I check in and I call Chris. He's actually there, and he and I go eat in the dining room, and he's really excited. He's a little nervous, but also he's very excited. And I'm going to meet all of the show people. And he goes, "But here's what we're going to do. You're going to actually do the voiceover stuff tomorrow, and then we'll do the filming stuff later, like over the weekend. So Friday is voiceover. Saturday and Sunday are actually filming scenes. Now let's put it this way. He's also filming on Friday, but my only obligation on Friday is to do the voiceover, and then I'm done for the day." So I can go back to the hotel or do whatever the fuck I want. So he and I eat lunch and our dinner, I guess, at that point, because it's the time change. And he tells me Dean's coming to town. I said, "Well, if you guys want to go out later, I'm in." And he goes, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, nothing. I'm just going to hang out in the room probably. I'm not going to go anywhere. I didn't rent a car, so it doesn't make any sense." So I go back to my room. And I think you guys know me and you know how I operate. So what do you think I did when I went back to my room? Well, I decided I should probably watch this movie to figure out what jokes I'm going to say tomorrow. Mind you, I've had the movie for a week, sitting on my desk in its DVD case, and couldn't be bothered to throw it in. I was like, well, I'll just make fun of it in the moment. That'll be the thing. That's never the best. You know, I mean, it is the best. I mean, I do really well in that. But at the same time, if it's just me, let's put it this way. If I was the only guy, I could have done that. I really think I could have watched the movie in real time and just fucking fired off jokes and made fun of it. But the fact that I was going to have another guy there and he and I were going to have to ping pong and bounce off one another, that was going to make it different. Now, if it was someone I had chemistry with, like Graham, I would still feel confident that I could go ahead and pull it off. However, you know me, and there's always the struggle between wanting to just unleash the bees on something and wanting to have these sharp, like I said, yeah, I can bludgeon you or I can stab you. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to have to stab them as well as bludgeon them. So I want to go ahead and at least watch the movie and see what I'm getting into. So here's this. All right. So I put the movie in and I watched it on the laptop in my room. And I have a Word doc open. So I'm writing furiously. I'm like tapping when everything happens. I'm creating jokes in the moment. It's you know what? It's very much like what I did for Cheap Seats. When I wrote for Cheap Seats, they would send me a video to watch. And as I watched it, I would just think up jokes. And it was just literally you wrote reams and reams of jokes and send it to them. And then they would pick out the best ones and use them. So that's what I did. So I'm watching the movie Asylum. And I figured I'd watch it once and then formulate ideas and scribble. So that's what I did. I had a Word doc open, but I said, I can't type. Just watch the movie. So I had a pad of paper with me. And I'm watching. And as stuff is unfolding, the way my head works is as you know, I just kind of fire away. So I'm making jokes, and then I think of a better joke for that. I think of a better joke for that. So I'm just writing, scrolling, and I'm flipping pages. And by the time I'm done, it looks like John Doe's fucking Notebook in 7. I mean, it's just all these tiny letters, and I'm just trying to fix it. But the overwhelming feeling I have as I watch it is one of astonishment that this piece of shit made it to movies. It is terrible. It is horrible. It's confusing. Like, I can't even imagine the looks on the faces. It looks like something Colonel Kurtz sent back from the jungle. And that's why they sent Martin Sheen to find him. It is fucking terrible. And the dialogue and the actors, he cast these local actors from Zagreb or wherever the fuck, and they're wooden and awful and just bad. And there's like a control room, and again, it's so cheap. Okay, I don't know where the fucking $1 million went. Probably all to Stephen Ray, because they're in a van, and then they're in a fucking control room, and then they're in the hospital. And it's just these 3 locations, and there's stock footage of vans driving. I mean, it really looks like an Ed Wood production. Oh, actually, it's done in Bulgaria. It's an Ed Woodensky production. An Ed Woodiev production. So, I mean, it's really bad. But The good news is I'm destroying it. Like I'm writing all these bits and I'm trying to figure out what to make have happen. I'm being funny, but I'm also, my jaw's open at how terrible it is. And also there are parts, like it's playing and all of a sudden it'll say scene missing. Scene missing. Like there are scenes, this is a completed film. And there's scenes missing. There's a scene where they're in a van and they're driving over a bridge and they park in front of the prison. And then they're in the van driving over the bridge again. And then they're in the prison. Like it's all fucking out of order. And this was the finished product. So I'm fucking writing, and now I got to hone stuff. So then I watch it a second time, and I'm saying the jokes out loud to see how they work. And then I'm typing them into the Word doc so I can have them on hand the next day. So I should tell you this too. This is taking hours. I mean, I started in my room at like 6 o'clock p.m. and I figured I'd be done by like midnight. Dude, I'm still up at 4 a.m. writing. My call time the next day is 8 a.m. Oh no, it's 7 a.m. We have to be at the video place by 8 a.m. They got to get me at 7. So I'm still up at 4. And I'll tell you this, I'm only halfway done with the movie because I overwrote. Because I wrote 3 jokes for every situation. Because that's how I want to do it. I want to be able to have a better line or a better line or a better line. Because I don't know how they're going to work it. Are they just going to say fire away? Are we doing it in the moment? I don't know. I don't know the production schedule. I don't know how they're doing it. So he told me we were going to have, I think 4 hours in the video booth. And then he said, you hope to have another 4 hours later. And maybe we could do stuff in LA too. So I just wrote a ton of material. And I'll be honest with you, because I knew I was going to come here and do this show. I pulled up my notes at the house and I was going to print them out so I could tell you some of the lines. But my printer was like running low on ink and I was pissed. But I was reading them and I was laughing out loud in my house because I'm like, dude, I am hysterical. I am fucking hysterical. I will just tell you this one line. There's a confession booth in the beginning. And the devil shows up and he's talking to a priest and it's just awful. And so the devil gives this overwrought speech. And he's just like, it is the portal to all that is evil. It is the gateway that unleashes hell upon the earth. It is the transferal pod to another time and land that will bring the end of this, whatever the fuck, some long thing. And so then there's a beat and I just went, so Kris Jenner's vagina? And it made me laugh so hard and I'm reading these and the bits are just fucking great. I'm going, God damn, I'm funny. But I couldn't print it out. But, then I thought to myself, I go, well, so if anybody wants them, fuck that. Nobody wants them. Because completely out of context, they don't work. So I show up the next by. So at 4, I go, I got to go to bed. I'm only halfway done with the movie. So I'm like, well, I'll just fucking fly through the second half and make fun of it. Because I've seen the movie now twice, so I know kind of what I want to do. And I have my handwritten notes. So I bring those along with my well-typed notes. So I'm going to stab and bludgeon them both. So I get picked up in the morning. I get 2.5 hours of sleep, jump in the shower. They take me to the video booth and I meet, who did I meet? I met Lauren and Stephanie and Stacy and all these people that are involved. And I meet them and they're all 30. They're on the go professional women who are working for a film company and men, whoever. And, but they're 28 and they work for After Dark Films. And let me tell you this, they know everything about the movies. They know about productions. They know about movies. They know everything there is to know, and you don't. They're super nice. They're really cool. But they're the kind of people who, like, we're having a conversation. And, Lily and I, let's role play a little bit. You be me. I'm going to say, so tell me a little bit about yourself. All right. Wait, what? Let me say it first. Mike, oh my God, Kris told us some great things. So what do you do? You're a comedian? Tell us about yourself.
I have a podcast.
I have to take this. Hello? Literally all of them have 2 cell phones. One for texting, one for talking. Because while they're talking, they're texting, and while they're texting, they're talking, and while they're and they may very well be texting and talking with the person across the fucking table from them. I have no idea. But let me tell you something, the level of importance attributed to these women and these people and these production people from After Dark Films is off the charts. I expected bodyguards. I mean, they are fucking pretending like they are goddamn Robert Evans. Hey man, we're making movies. We are making movies. Meanwhile, me and their writer friend from Tulane are going to go into a photo booth and make fun of one of those movies because they couldn't make it properly. So I meet Ted. I see him. Everything's great. We stop for more orange juice and we go to the photo booth or the video booth, whatever the fuck. And we check in, and then there's a sound guy, and we meet more people. And they're all texting and they're talking and they're very important. And we have a 4-hour window, and we're really looking forward to hearing what you come up with. So we go and we sit in a big room. We're not in a real audio booth. We're in a large sound stage with a TV and 2 microphones. And Ted and I sit down, and they go, all right. And Chris is in our ears, because we have cans on, and Chris is like, here's what you're going to do. We're just going to play the movie, and you guys fire away. And that was my level of direction.
Wow.
And it makes sense, but it's like everything's being done quickly. You know what I mean? Like we only have 3 days to get this done. So he had told me that we were going to have 4 days or 4 hours in the booth, and then probably another 4 hours in the booth, and maybe back in LA we could do punch up and all that stuff. He informs me before we shoot. He's like, this is it. This is our voiceover. There's no money for anything else. Their budget is so tight that we have to get it right now. This is what we do. And I have not worked with Ted. I don't know Ted. I don't know what his jokes are. He might have some of the same jokes that I have, or well, obviously not, because I'm great. But I mean, he may have same for the same situation. And so we'll collide. Like I don't have any chemistry with Ted. I've never worked with him, so I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And also, he tells me that this is it. I've only written half the movie. So that means for the second half of the movie, I'm literally going to just have to make fun of it in the moment. Which again, if it's just me, I got no problem with that. But I don't know what Ted's going to do, and I don't want to step on him, and he's going to step on me. It's just a thing, man. If it was me and Graham, we could just fucking do it. So we sit down on this big couch, and we put on our cans, and Chris comes in, and he just goes, all right, we're going to turn on the movie, and you guys just fire away. And they did. So he starts playing the movie, and I will tell you this, we start firing away. And I will tell you this too, I have like 3 jokes for every situation. I don't just have one joke. Ted's got his notes, and he starts doing his jokes. And, all right, I'm going to say this diplomatically. Ted's a writer. He's not a comedian. He may not even be a performer to the extent that I am. And I've been doing it 20 years or more. He's 22. So he essentially was born, if he's 22 in 2013, that means he's born in 81. No, 91. The year I started doing stand-up. So the experience I have in doing this, he has in life. So I recognize right away that when we're banging, his jokes they're not my jokes. And I'm not being selfish or weird. I'm just being serious. Because he writes differently. He writes more dry. And I can write dry too, but I'm trying to fit them, whatever the fuck. But what's the even worse part? I don't make Ted laugh. At all. Any joke I'm talking great jokes. Like, I have some really well-written stuff, and I'm banging it out, and he doesn't laugh. And then he would do a line or 2 lines, and I would laugh, because I like to laugh, and also I'm trying to encourage him, and hey, let's have some fun here a little bit. And, even if I didn't think it was funny, I would kind of laugh a little bit or whatever, because it added something to it to me. Because I asked Chris if I could do that. He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. He goes, have fun. You guys are having fun destroying this movie. You guys are 2 editors who just fucking can't believe this horrible nonsense that came to you, and you're not world weary about it. You're just like, oh my God, what the fuck? That's what I want. That's the vibe. So I was that guy. I was almost Blutarsky about it. You know what I mean? Just making fun of it in the moment, but also kind of smart. But I can't make Ted laugh. And, about a third of the way through, Chris would stop us and he'd go, okay, let's retake this. And then Chris would have lines too. Chris would come in and he'd go, here, I really want you to say this. Because Chris wrote lines as well. So he would feed us lines. And I would say, you going to say that or me? And we'd decide who was going to say it. So Chris would have some lines and I would have some lines. Ted had lines. We're just firing away. We're just doing whatever we can. But about halfway through the project, we stand down and we take a break. And, everybody takes their bathroom break and they go and do their thing. And I drink some juice. And Chris comes in. He's like, how's it going? And I go, you tell me how it's going. I don't know. And he goes, it's going fucking great. He goes, you're killing in the control room. I go, because I can't hear anything, Chris. I go, Ted doesn't think I'm funny. And he goes, no, I'm sure he does. And I go, he's not laughing. And Chris is like, maybe Ted is concentrating on getting his jokes out. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you just talk. Like, you can just fire away. He goes, this guy's a writer. He's got to read what he's written. So he reads it, and then he has to load the next joke and wait for the proper... He's trying to get his timing down. Like, he's got to read his script to the moment in the movie. He's matched it all together. He goes, you and me, he goes, we can just fucking say stuff and be funny because we're comedians. He goes, this guy's not a comedian, so he's got beats to hit. And I'm like, oh. He goes, He's probably not even listening to you. Which I don't think bodes well for the project, quite frankly, but that's fine. He goes, it's great. Everything's great. He goes, the control room loves it. I'm like, all right. I still have no confidence in it. I know I'm fucking funny, but I don't know how it's working. And also, I don't know how it's going to get cut. I don't know anything. And I have multiple jokes that I didn't get to use. So Ted comes back and we start and we do the second half of the movie. And we do this, and it, works out. We get near we finish in like 3 hours and 15 minutes. We've got the room for 4 hours. So Chris is like, we're done. He goes, that's great. I mean, I consider that a wrap. And I go, is it? And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, is there a way like to do more? He goes, well, we've got really much, I go, well, dude, I wrote multiple lines for different situations. So can we just lay it down? And if you want to use them, whatever you want to use. He's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So he starts to play the movie from the top, and I went kind of by myself, and Ted was there too. I said, if you think of anything that you can throw in, let's do it. And I should tell you, I got through the second half of the movie great. I mean, I just made fun of it in the moment. I had general ideas that I had formulated from my scrawled notes, but I was able to form them into cohesive jokes on the fly because that's what I fucking do. So the second half of the movie was great, and then I say, can I lay some like additional stuff down? And he said, sure. So he turns the mics on and they start playing the movie again. And I don't know if he did it on purpose. And if he did, it's a brilliant move by Chris. Because Chris is directing the entire voiceover session. He's directing the film. But I wasn't sure if it was on purpose. But as I recorded my new lines, he left my cans open. He left the microphone open in the control room so I could hear them in there. Because he knew when we took the break, he was like, how's it going? I go, dude, you tell me how it's going. I got no fucking idea. I'm sitting in a silent room with a guy who doesn't think I'm funny. So he leaves the mic open in the control room. After he goes, okay, you ready? All right, we're going to roll. And I hear them back there. And of course, the first thing I hear is, I got to take this. Hello? And I'm like, and I wanted to say the mic's open, but I just wanted to concentrate on my jokes. So he left the microphone open and the movie's playing and I start firing off my alternate lines. And as I do that, I hear them crack up in the control room. And that's, as you know from this podcast, I kind of feed off of that. So as it keeps going, Ted has some lines, and I think he might have the open headphone too, because he's kind of getting into it a little more. He's hearing an audience. When you hear an audience, it changes you. And so I start delivering the lines, and maybe with a little more impact and maybe with a little more oomph. I don't know, maybe not. I tend to do things one way, my way. But knowing that there's a reaction makes it that much better. So, it's when you're fucking somebody, you want them to tell you that you're doing it great. Otherwise, you're just fucking somebody. I'm a verbal guy. So I'm firing away and they're crying. I can hear them laughing. They go, "Oh my God, that was a great one. That was fucking great. Write that one down." Like I can hear them getting into it and laughing, and nobody's taking a fucking phone call because now they're listening and they're laughing and it's fucking great. It's great. It was awesome. I felt amazing about it. And we finally finished. We wrapped up and they're like, "All right, we're all going to go to lunch. Let's all go to lunch. Hello, hold on. I got to take this." And they fucking on their phones. We depart in a cloud of beep tones. And I look at Chris and I go, "That was good." He goes, "That was great." I go, "It sounded like it was going well." And he goes, "You heard that?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "You did that on purpose?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "God damn it. Good. Thank you. Thank you." Because he knew. He fucking knew. That's what a director does. So we go to lunch and they bought lunch at some fancy Louisiana restaurant and they got a etouffee and all that. It was great. It was really fun. And everybody was really, again, these people are really nice. They all know one another. What are you going to say?
I'm just laughing because they buy a fancy lunch, but they won't spring for a second
Dude,
recording session.
no kidding.
Yeah.
There's like 15 of us at lunch. And everybody's ordering whatever the fuck they want. And it's just happening. They're getting table food too. It was just crazy. The lunch bill was probably like $600.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. That was, you know what? That's what they mean by we're making movies, right? We're all going to lunch together and talking on the phone and texting and talking about deals. And did you see Variety today? Did you read the Hollywood Reporter? Hey, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Believe me, we're far away from the movie industry, despite the fact that you have a camera and a phone. But whatever the fuck. Maybe they're tied in more than I know. That's good. Good for them. But the lunch, it's just that thing where they're all playing grown-up filmmaker, We're making deals. We're cutting deals. We're constantly busy. Oh my God, let's get points on that. Did you get the points? Dudes, you should have farmed this out to fucking Bulgaria or I wouldn't be here eating your etouffee. We leave from lunch. We go back to the hotel. I tell Chris, I'm like, what's going on? He goes, dude, I'm dead. He goes, I got to prepare for tomorrow, man. I'm directing scenes and I'm directing some stuff tonight. I go, okay, cool. I'm home. So I go to my room and I fucking crash. I'm so beat. I just crash out. And my call time the next day is also early. So, I mean, my sleep thing is all fucking weird. So I wake up in the middle of the night and I stay up a little bit. And I have lines, too, the next day that I have to rehearse. So I'm looking at the lines because I don't, again, as you know, I don't really fucking play well with others unless it's a stop sign in a mailbox. So I'm just like, well, what the fuck am I going to do here? I'm not sure. But I'm ready. I have my lines down, so I'm ready for it. So the next day I show up and this again, fucking ridiculous. I show up and they're filming scenes and Chris is playing a Russian. And I'm like, aren't you the director? Why are you in the movie? So they stand down and they come over. And I wish to tell you this too bad. They brought me in for breakfast. Fucking craft services in Louisiana, who they hired. The food was so goddamn good. It was so good. They didn't skimp. That's the one thing is they didn't skimp on that. They took care of us that way. So I show up and Chris is filming these scenes with Dean Haglund and these local people. There's local comedians who are involved. And there's this break and I see Chris by the craft services and I go, dude, why are you a Russian in your own fucking movie? And I don't remember it was like, I think that the guy they wanted to do it didn't do it great, but I don't want to say anything in case he's listening, because I'm sure he's listening. I should tell you this, dudes. When I got picked up at the airport, I got picked up by a woman who was an intern on the movie. And she and I hit it off great. I mean, we were talking about music, and it was really funny, and she seemed interested in me, and she wanted to know about the podcast, and I talked about her, and she's, wants to do movie making, but she's living there, and she's not sure what she's going to, and I thought she was really fantastic. And the next day when I got to the set, because she was with her friends, like, she acted completely differently. Like, she knew all of them, and they were her friends, and, because we had talked, we were talking about music, and I was like, I go, what kind of music do you like? And, or, whatever the fuck her name was, I don't want to say. And she told me about, and she liked interesting music. And I said, you got to tell me what that is. And I said, I have some stuff that's great. I said, I'll send you some stuff if you want to hear it. And we really hit it off. And then the next day I walked up to her and I go, hey, what's up? She goes, oh, hi. And I go, I didn't get your music list last night. She goes, oh, I'll get to that. Dude, we were special in the car. What happened? Now you got friends? Whatever the fuck. So I show up on set. Chris is a Russian. It's ridiculous. And now I have to shoot a scene where Dean Haglund is going to yell at all of us. So I'm sitting around a conference table, and the lines are, well, I don't have the script handy, but the lines are, I just have to go, dude, this thing's a nightmare. I don't know how we're going to make it work. Because he wants to know, he's the idiot. In the movie, he's the idiot who sent the film to Bulgaria. And he keeps thinking it's a great thing. He's happy about it. But we're trying to convince him that it's terrible, that he won't listen to us. And he's completely clueless and oblivious, and he keeps picking up the phone. And part of me makes me think that he's doing a spoof on these people who are booking and doing the fucking movie, because Dean is a genius. Dean sees something, he's like a chameleon, he'll fucking just repeat it to you. So we go to film the scene, and I see Dean, and he's super nice, and he's fucking great in his scenes. He's just funny. And because I'm watching it, I get to watch, they're filming a bunch of stuff before I even am involved. So then when I'm involved, we're sitting around a conference room, and the scene calls for Dean to throw a bottle of water across the table. Like, he's supposed to, he's got to be talking, and he's mad, and he's angry, and then we're telling him things he doesn't want to hear, and he goes, God damn it, and he whips a bottle of water toward camera. But he's got to miss the camera. He's got to hit the wall behind the camera, but he's got to come flying at camera. So he keeps throwing it, and it's open.
Oh.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Because they want water to kind of maybe make a thing, and they got to keep cleaning it up and all that. So he fires it a couple of times, and I'm doing my lines, and we just take after take after take, we're doing it. So then there's a break, and I go over to Dean, and I go, hey, hit me in the face with the water bottle.
Of course you did.
He goes, what? I go, dude, throw the water bottle, but hit me in the face with it. It'll be hysterical. He goes, well, what do you... And Dean's like, all right, yeah, definitely, I'm going to do that. I go, we'll do it on the next take. I go, don't tell them. I go, just stand up and turn around and fire it at me and bounce it off my head. And I said, and I'll just do it fucking like a take, like... And he goes, all right. Because Dean is like, yes, let's fucking do it. Because he keeps changing his lines. That's the best part. I should tell you this. Dean is improvising. So he keeps coming up with like fucking, cock fuck or all, he keeps calling us rude names that are really fucking ridiculous and silly. And he keeps changing them all the time. And the crew is trying not to laugh because Dean is fucking making them laugh, and the producers and stuff. So every time that we'd cut, they come over and they're like, "You're so funny. You're the funniest guy in the world. Oh my God, that's fucking hysterical. Keep doing that. It's so great. It's so great." And so then I tell him, I go, "Well, fuck, if we're just going to improv this, fucking hit me in the head with a bottle." He's like, "Yeah, definitely." So we set up for the next take, and they get the cameras all set up. And he starts on the rant, and he's there, and I'm standing there. And he's like, "God damn it." And he picks up the bottle and he turns and he just whips it at my fucking head. And it's open. So it fucking clung. It hits me in the skull and bounces off and water goes all over. And I just do this take and I just wipe the water off my eye. Like I don't flinch. I don't fucking yell. I don't go, "Whatever, what the fuck?" I just let it hit me and just stare at him and then just do a take and fucking wipe the water off my forehead. And he starts yelling again. And Chris goes, "Cut, cut." And Chris comes up and he goes, "What? Why?" And Dean's like, and people but everybody else laughs. Like the people at the table laugh and they fucking just like, "Oh my God, it was hysterical." And Chris is like, "No, you can't, dude." And I'm like, "Oh, we thought it would be, it'd be funny to do one like that to see what it looked like." And they go, "Well," he goes, "It was funny, but it's not what I want. I want the bottle to fly at the camera because he's the fucking director and that's what he wants." And also probably because they didn't have a camera on because they had a wide shot, but it didn't really catch it. So he goes, don't do that." So Dean just looks at me and he goes, "Wow, it was good though. You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So we filmed the rest of the scene and it was great. And then that night, once we knock off, me, Dean, and Chris go out to dinner. And we went to a crab shack or something, like a local joint, not like a fucking Joe's. And we just got fucking crayfish. Like bowls of crayfish. I think we ordered 100 of them. And Dean gets a beer, like a big fucking, Dean's a drinker, so he's got this big fucking stein of beer and he's drinking it. And we ordered other food too, like fish and crayfish, and we're eating. And I had, you know what I had? I had a fucking man's meal. I haven't had that in so goddamn long, where it's just 3 dudes sitting around and Chris is talking about the experience, and then Dean is just regaling us with stories. I mean, it was one of those days that really enlightened me to think, you know what? Everybody has fucking stories. It's just I happen to fucking not be shy about telling all of mine. But Dean's got these amazing stories of working in Canada. He's from Canada and he's an improv guy. Well, he would travel from town because there's notorious stories about the comedy audiences in Canada. Like yucks. It's almost like a physical sport. Like, they would really get after you. So I was always intimidated by it. That I was weirded out. And I asked him about it and he's like, "Oh yeah." And so he tells me this story that he had an improv partner and it was a girl. And they would show up to perform for Roughnecks at oil fields. And they wouldn't have had a show for like a month. They haven't seen a woman in a month. So he said we would go into this bar and these guys would be drinking from 3:00 in the afternoon. He goes, "Well, we'd show up at fucking 9. And we would be on this tiny stage and there were 3 balconies and people surrounding us and yelling at us. And they had to do a fully improvised show for them, an improv show. They had their own sketches and stuff like that, but then they have to improvise." And he goes, all the time it would just be, we'd do an hour and a half and just try to fucking fight them and do it and slog it and make our way out of there and get the money. And he's telling these stories and I'm like, God damn it. Because I wouldn't have lasted. I don't think I would have lasted. I didn't like regular comedy club audiences. I did, but I didn't. But Dean's got these amazing, and he's just, so that's why you go, oh, that's why you're this fucking good at what you do. And that's why when you're in a room with anybody, you can fucking handle it. Because he was performing for fucking, like I said, Roughnecks on oil fields. There was a fire outside and we're performing and he just fucking did it. And then we just, he had like, 4 beers and we ate all these crayfish. And I mean, dude, it was so great. I was stuffed. It was so fun. And then afterwards, and we actually got driven there. We took a cab and then we went up at another place. It was, you know what it was? It was just being on the road and living, because when I would go on the road, I would eat with guys and stuff. It was just great. It was so fun to be, dude, I was in the business all of a sudden. Even though I was in Louisiana and I was surrounded by these fucking tykes with fucking phones, I was still making a movie. So then the next day comes, and the next day is my big day. All right. It's the scenes with me and Ted. And my name in the movie is Grant, by the way. I'm Grant, and Ted is Tim. So these are the scenes where Grant and Tim are sitting at the editing bay. And these will be interspersed with our voiceovers to show us just sitting there like slack-jawed staring at the screen. And then talking back and forth about his girlfriend and her roommate. And there's just general dialogue, but also it's about the movie, how bad it is, and how we fucking, whatever. It's just, but these are scenes. These are actual scenes. So we set up in the control room. We get ready. They pick an outfit for me because I'm going to actually be on camera again. And then as the crew sets up, I'm going to go learn my lines. So I sit by myself, and I'm wondering if I should ask Ted if he wants to rehearse them. But then I go, nah, fuck that. I'll just go ahead and look at him, and if he wants to, he knows where I'm at. And Ted had a friend with him. I should tell you this. Ted had some guy with him, and Ted was rehearsing his lines with that guy. And I'm like, dude, I'm right fucking here. Like, why wouldn't you? Fuck it. Who cares? So I sit on a couch by myself, and I'm going over my script. And then I see Ted is across the room, and he's in a conference room with this other guy. And meanwhile, the producers are all buzzing around with their phones, and they're texting, and they're talking. I mean, it's fucking 8 a.m. And still they're like, got to take this. Who are you talking to on the West Coast? Are you checking the Nikkei index for fucking Tokyo? What the fuck? Big money makers, big movie makers. So I'm sitting on the couch, and I hear one of the producers. She goes into the conference room because I'm behind a wall. She goes in to talk to Ted, and she goes, She goes, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. We loved Dean yesterday. Did you see Dean? And Ted's like, yeah. And he goes, all right. We want you to feel free to say whatever you want. And he goes, well, I got a script. And she goes, well, that's fine. She goes, but just be funny. Say whatever you want, whatever you think is great. Because it's going to work. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It'll just be funny and say whatever you want. Like, and Ted's like, well, there was a line and he changed it. And the line was something about his dog and a dog without a leash is whatever. And he said, I wish I could fucking remember it. I don't have the script with me, but he said it and she goes, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's perfect. Do that line. And he's like, really? And he goes, yeah, she goes, just do that line and just change whatever you want. It's as long as it's funny, we don't care. Well, maybe you should tell the director that you don't care about his script and you're telling his actors to do whatever the fuck they want. And there's a little difference in telling Dean Haglund, an improv veteran of 30 years, and giving him carte blanche to do whatever he wants, and telling Ted, the 22-year-old from Tulane who's never been on camera before, that he should feel free to just whimsically drop in whatever bon mot he thinks are going to be great. And by the way, Ted has a scene partner named Mike who might want to know what's coming because he's rehearsed his lines. But I digress. So I'm still looking at my lines, and I'm like, all right, well, I got to expect that now. We'll see what happens. Chris walks in. I go, hey, let me talk to you a second. He comes over, and I go, I just want to tell you the producers just told Ted that he can say whatever he wants. And Chris is like, what? I said, they said he can ignore the script and say whatever he wants as long as it's funny because Dean did, and it was hysterical. And he goes, oh, man. And I go, yeah. I go, so you can talk to Ted or you can just wait in the moment or see if he does it because he didn't look like he was really committed to the idea, but he had one line that he changed and they said it was brilliant. He's like, all right, but I'm going to tell Chris because he's my friend. I'm not a snitch. It's just I want the fucking thing to go smoothly. And you know what? You've got me here for 3 fucking days. Any fucking wrench you throw into the works is going to gum it up and going to make it go longer and longer. And we're all trying to get this done because you're on a fucking time frame and also you've all got phone calls to take from the coast. So I go back to my couch. Chris goes back to take care of whatever he's taking care of as far as scenes, dressing, and set dressing. And the producer comes up to me. And she goes, hey, hi. And I go, hi. And she goes, I just want to warn you. I said, what's up? She goes, well, Ted has a couple of lines that are really good. And he's changed the script. So I just want to make sure you're ready. I said, what do you mean? And she goes, well, I don't want him to throw you off when he says something really funny, because it might make you laugh and I just want you to be prepared because he's going to say he has a couple of things that he's changed and we told him to just change some stuff because it's going to be really funny. So I just want you in the moment to be prepared when he says it and you can just do your lines, but I mean, it's going to be really great. I said, oh, okay. So I should be prepared for him to be really funny and just roll with it. She goes, yeah, absolutely. He's going to be great. So just make sure you're there and you're ready for it. I said, okay. And I knew then that I was going to have to deal with the situation. So we get in to do the scene. And Chris sets it set up. They get my shirt. They get the lighting. And I'll be honest with you, I'm more pissed. I don't give a fuck that he's changing shit. I don't give a fuck that they think that he's funny. what I don't like is the fact that he got the pep talk to be as funny as he possibly can be and change lines, but they told me to be prepared for it. They told me to be ready for the other guy to be really funny. Their friend from Tulane, who's 22, who's never done a fucking thing in his life, they told the 20-year-old veteran of stand-up comedy that I should sit there and be, I guess, I don't know, receptive? You ever hear that phrase? You know what, if rape is inevitable, lie back and enjoy it? They told me to lie back and enjoy it. So, fuck that Snickers. Action! And we start to do our scene, and I do mine, and I do my lines, and everything's great. And then he comes to his line, and he changes it, changes the dog line, and he changes it. And I just go, would you ever sleep with a dog? And he goes, what? I go, no, seriously. I go, because you're always attached to that dog, and it's going, and I unleash ad-lib all over him. And Chris keeps rolling. And Ted is like, what? And kind of gets put on his heels. And I go, no, seriously, I want to ask you this question about, I unleash the bees all over this fucking set, all over this guy. Because you know what? She's there with her phone, and I wanted her to realize, I'm not going, I mean, look, I wanted the production to go well and smoothly, but I'm not going to fucking okey doke for anybody. You're not going to fucking tell me that this 22-year-old who's never done a thing in his goddamn life, who's a nice kid, and I like him, and he wrote well, and good for him, but you're not going to fucking let me sit down and play straight man to that? Are you fucking joking? Do you not know who I am? I took a water bottle for you fucking people yesterday. So it was like I pull started a mower and I just fucking ran him over. I just let him have it. I just fucking shotgun him with ad lib. And he's just kind of like, yeah, well, and he's trying to roll with it, but I'm just, and then boom, boom. And I'm escalating it and I'm taking it every day. And Chris, I'm going to like cut. And I just ad lib. And now we're having a conversation that he's sucked into that he has no idea he was going to be in. And he's just trying to fucking not drown. And I am not throwing him a life preserver because fuck that. Get one from phone. And I am unleashing, and finally there's a beat, and we finally get to the final line. What I did, I steered it back to the dialogue, and then I finished the scene the way it was supposed to be finished, and then we finished, and then Chris said cut. And the crew dies laughing. Fucking dies. The guy holding the boom mic was like, dude, I couldn't even hold the boom mic. I was shaking because I was laughing so fucking hard. And they come in, and they're just like, it's that thing I get a lot where people are like, who the fuck are you? Because again, I was just the guy, they weren't in on the voiceover session, all the crew, they don't know who I am. I'm just the idiot. I was the guy who got hit with a water bottle the next day. So I'm sitting there and they are dying, the crew, and they're coming up to me and they're going, well, and they're like introducing themselves. Mike, oh my God, that was fucking hysterical. That was fucking, they're all thinking, Ted looks a little shaken. Ted's a little white. I won't lie to you. But even he is like, that was funny. God damn, that was funny. Because he knows, he respects it. And he was funny too. He held his own. He talked. He was a little thrown. But, just my favorite part is the fact that she warned me to be ready for it. And then I'd fuck you. I just let go of the leashes and let the dogs find Cool Hand Luke. I didn't fucking care. And Chris comes in and he's got this look on his face like, really? And I just kind of look at him and kind of shrug because he knew, because I had told him about what they had warned me about. And so he just goes, that was really funny. It was all great. He goes, and keep it up. Just let's do more. He goes, let's do one that's a straight take, and then we'll go ahead and see what else we can do. Because and you know what? That's all I really wanted, because I just wanted to show what I could do. I just wanted to open up the fucking Gatling gun and spray the fuck out of everybody. And so we did one straight, and then we did another straight, and then we just did stuff where we made fun of stuff. Because we had like 8 scenes. So we just kept doing them. We would do a normal one, and then we do a fun one, and we do a normal one, and then a fun one. And Chris was really great about it. He's like, just let's do it. Let's just be funny. Let's just have fun. It was really cool. I mean, he didn't iron fist it. He let everybody do whatever they wanted. He was really cool to the crew, but when he needed them to be quiet and do stuff, it was cool to watch him direct, because I just know Chris is Chris, and I knew him from the short film, and just to see what he had gained in an experience and how great he was at it now, it was so fun. I loved it. And also, I was me. I got to be me. That was the important thing, is if I could be me, that's all I cared about. So we finished the scenes, and then we wrap, and then they have the craft services lunch that was fucking amazing. It was like this roast pork tenderloin, and I was so good. And then afterwards we were going to go out, and we had finished early. So fucking Dean and Chris and I were going to drive to New Orleans. Because, we're in Baton Rouge. It's not far. It's 100 miles. And I had never been. So I was like, let's fucking do it. But by the time we finished and the crew got all packed and everything, and we were all flying early the next day, and they were just like, dude, what are we going to do? Go to Bourbon Street for 3 hours and then come back? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. And Dean was all for it, but then it came to renting a car, and we tried to call, and they were going to bring us a car at Enterprise. It just, once the logistics, is that thing like, you know, it's like when I wanted to go to Santa Cruz and be a vampire. Yeah. But then you forget you got to drive to Santa Cruz. Oh, God damn it. Why can't I just snap my fingers and be in Santa Cruz biting people on the neck? No, I got to make the fucking drive. I got to climb in my coffin and fucking drive 140 miles to go be a vampire. I just want to be a vampire now, God damn it. So we wanted to go to New Orleans, but we didn't want to go to New Orleans. We wanted to be in New Orleans is what we wanted to do. So we meet the crew, we say goodbye, everything's getting bagged up, and we go to the hotel, and we just fucking had a quiet dinner and just waited to fly out the next day. So I get up the next day, I get on my flight, and I have to be routed through, like again, I was in Louisiana, so I had to route through a certain way. So they routed me through Chicago. So I land in Chicago, and I'm on the shuttle to go to the airport, and my phone rings, and it's Karen. And it's Karen informing me that she will not be there when I get home. And this will explain to you why I didn't talk about the movie that week. Yeah. I had other things to tell you about. And then this story just kind of got pushed back because I didn't want to talk about it until I knew for sure what was going on with the movie. So I would ask Chris periodically, I go, hey man, what's going on with Death of a Horror Movie? And he'd go, I don't know. I'm trying to find out myself. And, you know, we're a year past. We're a year on right now. Okay. So I keep saying to him all the time, hey, Chris, you got anything from Death of a Horror Movie? You've heard anything? And I don't keep saying it because I knew if he had anything, he'd tell me. But I would continue to check in with him, and I'd be like, hey, man, what's up with Death of a Horror Movie? And he'd be like, dude, I'm still trying to find out. I haven't taken a meeting with them. You know, we were talking. He goes, and he told me, he goes, I have he had the cut, so he had to fucking put it all together. So I'm like, all right, so you're doing the cut, and you've got all the voiceover? He goes, yeah, it's a lot of work. I got to edit it. I've got to do it. And here's the thing. I will tell you this. You would think if they made a shit movie, they would just fucking throw it away. But they've invested over $1 million in it. And After Dark Films isn't exactly $1 million company. Well, here's what I find out. They owe Lionsgate these movies. Because the way it works is After Dark works with Lionsgate. Lionsgate contracts them to do 3 movies. So they owe 3 movies in a calendar year, and they've gotten the money to do them. So they shoot Asylum, and it turns out to be garbage. They still owe a movie to Lionsgate. So their plan was to have Chris fix the movie and make it into this comedy, and that was what they were going to give to Lionsgate. And when I heard that, I laughed and I go, this movie's never seeing the light of day. Because fucking Lionsgate is going to see it and go, this isn't what we contracted for. You're a fucking horror movie company. But I didn't care, and I was willing to jump in, and it was worth the effort, and Chris and working with him and going to do that and having that etouffee and fucking crayfish and a man's dinner, and I was excited. So why not? If somebody tells me they want me to do a movie, I'm not turning it down. I hope eventually it comes out, but who knows if it ever will. So I'm talking to Chris, and every time I see him, you know, whenever I see him, we talk, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, well, you know, I made the edit, and I sent it to them, and they wanted to re-edit it, and they wanted to do some stuff, and they had some ideas. So about 4 months ago, I see him, and I go, hey, Chris, man, what's the story on the movie? You hear anything about it? And he just goes, well, here's the thing. And I'm like, oh, boy. And he said, they made some changes. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, they cut out a lot of your voiceover. I'm like, what? Why? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I think Ted did more, or they used more of Ted, and they just wound up, it worked out that way. He goes, I haven't seen a final cut. I don't know anything. But he goes, I know in one of the meetings that was discussed, and I think that's the direction they went. He goes, but I'll be honest with you, Mike, I haven't talked to them. And I'm at the point now where I'm contacting my lawyers and having them contact the company because I need to find out what's happening. And all right. And it just made me laugh because I'm like, really? So you made a comedy horror film and you cut out the comedy? All right. But I'm like, dude, really? Really? Because I was hysterical, and I know I was. But I'll never fucking know. So periodically I would Google it and try to see, what happened. It was at IMDb, Asylum, and it's got the cast and everything. And there's a trailer online you can see for Asylum. And the trailer looks great. Again, watch that trailer and go, oh man, that looks like it might be a scary movie in a mental hospital. No, not at all. Absolutely not. It's terrible. It's fucking awful. So when I did the Comedy Film Nerds live show a couple weeks ago, I said to Chris, I go, hey, I got a question. What's going on with the movie? He goes, I don't know. They won't return my calls. I haven't met with them in months. My lawyers are on it. I said, all right, well, I'm just telling you now, I'm talking about the movie on my show. He goes, well, give me a week. I said, what's a week going to do? And he goes, well, I'll talk to my lawyers and see what I need to do, and then they can talk to them, and we'll see. Because as soon as I can get an answer on what's going on, I don't give a fuck what you say. But right now, I just got to figure out what's happening. And I said, all right, I'll give you a week. So a week went by, and then I called them, and I'm like, hey, I kind of want to talk about this on the show this week, so what I'd like you to do is give me a list of names of people who were involved. I said, I know, Lori, and here's the thing, I should tell you, I had the names, but I was kind of giving Chris a reason to participate. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I wanted to give him a chance to say, don't use the names, basically is what I wanted to do. Because I have call sheets, so I know everybody's fucking name. I know everything that was involved. So I said to him, give me a call and let me know the names if you could text them or whatever. And he never got back to me. So I didn't do it on that week. So then last week, I texted him because I was going to do it on last week's show. And I finally said, hey, listen. You need to let me know these names. And I texted him and I called him. He never got back to me. And then finally on Monday, I think it was of last week, he just wrote me an email and he just said, I don't have the credits. I don't have the final credit sheet. I don't know the names. He goes, just make them up. He goes, because I'd prefer you did that anyway. And I'm not going to make up any fucking names. You know what I mean? It's not like what After Dark Films is going to blackball me for some movie they're never going to fucking release. So I figured I would tell you about it this week anyway. And then Monday night, I'm in my house. And I was going to go to the T's. And I go online to check Facebook and Twitter before I split. And I got a Twitter from a guy named @OustedPresident. A guy named Andy. And his fucking... The reason I looked... Because I mean, you know when people talk to you on Twitter. So I look and it's funny. His avatar is King Diamond. So, if you don't know who that is, it's just this ridiculous picture. So this is the tweet. I pull it up. I'm walking out the house to go to the T's. I pull it up and there's a tweet from him and it says, @the 40-year-old boy. I'm in Mexico watching HBO and I think you're on TV making jokes over some sci-fi movie. What's going on? That's my favorite part. He's panicked. What's going on? What's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? And I froze. I fucking froze. And I'm like, wait, we're in Mexico. So I immediately Google asylum. And I go to IMDb and it's still there. It's called Asylum. It's not. I Googled death of a horror movie first and that doesn't come up. So I Google Asylum and it says 2014 is the new release date instead of 2013. And it's got the same cast, Stephen Ray and all those fucking Croatians and all those other motherfuckers. The only difference is in the screenplay credit. It says Chris Mancini horror script, Tim Wolf, I think, horror script, and Chris Mancini comedy script. Tex Wall. Chris Mancini, Tex Wall horror script. Chris Mancini comedy script. That's the only new credit. And so I just sit down. I'm staring at the credits and I'm looking and I Google it all over looking for Mexico and fucking asylum. I'm trying to find HBO, anything. And finally I just write this guy back and I go, dude, are you serious? What's the movie called? Am I in Spanish? Answer my questions! And he just writes back, I was hoping you could answer. Didn't see too much, but it was you, I think, and one other guy doing MST3K jokes over some shitty-looking DTV sci-fi horror movie interspersed with scenes set at the production company for the movie. It was in English on a channel called HBO Plus. I didn't recognize any other actors. I might be crazy. And I'm like, fuck, I got to find this. So I start Googling it. I'm looking for HBO and I look for satellite TV and I'm looking for and I can't find HBO Plus. I'll tell you that. I found TV Guide and it said Google listings for HBO Plus and it didn't have any television listings. So I start Googling HBO Plus and then I Google HBO Plus Mexico and it comes up and it's all in Spanish. So then I start looking for movies and I punch in and it says Asylum and it comes up and it's up. Asylum is there. And it says 2014 and it's all in Spanish. And it just says crazed patients take over an insane asylum and a SWAT team has to deal with it. And it's airing like 8 more times in February and March. In the Pan-Pacifico region, whatever the fuck that is. So this movie is so awful, they buried it in Mexico for fuck's sake. So I wrote him back and I'm just like, you're not crazy. You still listen to the podcast? Everything will be explained this week. Thanks for the heads up. And he just writes back, looking forward to hearing it. But it's out there. It's fucking out there. It exists. And it's on HBO Plus. And no, oh my God, it has to hit YouTube, right? Someone has to find it. So I immediately call Chris. And I call his house and I call his cell phone. And he doesn't answer. And so I didn't leave a message. So then yesterday, Tuesday, I call him again and I go, listen, it's imperative that I talk to you. I go, I know it sounds weird because their wheels are turning over their fucking funding of the Kickstarter things. They have no idea what's going on. So he might know, he might not know, but they're doing Kickstarters. They're so deep into that. And I say, look, you have to call me back. I have to talk to you. It's important, but it's not important. Call me. So I go out yesterday. I'm in Venice. I'm at the beach. And finally my phone rings. And he answers the phone. He goes, man, it's been a crazy couple of days. I'm sure you can understand. I go, absolutely. I totally get it. I go, congratulations. I'm excited for you. He goes, yeah, it's been insane. He goes, I can't explain to you how crazy it's been. And I go, are you sitting down? He goes, why? I go, it's about to get a lot crazier. He goes, what's up? And I basically read that tweet to him from Ousted President. He goes, you're fucking kidding me. I go, dude, I'm serious. It's on in Mexico. I Googled it trying to find it. It's just airing. Like, he goes, I go, what did they say to you? He goes, I haven't talked to them in 5 months. My lawyers are like, well, we're still trying to contact them. He goes, I don't know anything. I have no idea what happened. I go, dude, I went to IMDb. You're credited with the comedy script as well as the horror script. And he's like, this is ridiculous. I go, dude, it's airing. It's somewhere. He goes, we got to find it. I go, yes, we do. We have to find it. I go, you should just call them and go, look, I know you're showing it to fucking poor Mexicans. Send us the goddamn movie. We have to have a screening of it. We got to see it. I go, it's terrible, right? It's got to be terrible, right, Chris? And he goes, I did what I could. I go, I know, but so what? How terrible is it that they buried it in fucking Mexico on HBO Plus in the Pan-Pacifico region? It's not even in the American part of Mexico. It's in the Pan-Pacifico part. You know what? Only drug cartels and ousted president get to watch this fucking movie. Literally, I made a movie for Andy from Twitter. That's it. That's my target audience is Andy from Twitter.
Andy needs to tape and send us a copy.
Yeah.
We'll screen it at the T's.
Wait, do they have that kind of technology in Mexico? Can you tape things? I have no idea. I don't know how it works down there. I don't know why Andy's in Mexico. He could be on the lam. You know what? Oh my God, Andy? Mexico? Is this Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption? This movie is only showing in Zihuatanejo. Hope is a good thing. Sometimes the best of things. Unless you're making a shitty movie with a bunch of kids on their cell phones in fucking Louisiana. Did you say you'd show it at the Tees?
Yes.
People at the Tees don't want to see that fucking movie. That's crazy.
We have the whole night there. We can do like a 6 o'clock screening during happy hour.
We'll show it early. Dude, we should do that. But when?
Margaritas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Why not? With Mexico theme. Let's do it.
Well, because if he tapes it and sends it to us on beta, I'm sure.
Of course.
It'll all be subtitled and voiced over in...
No, because he wrote me. He said it was in English.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I said to him, I go, am I in Spanish? Answer my questions.
We'll have a tequila shot every time you're funnier than 10.
Oh, my... Well, everybody will be dead. Everyone will die. All right, we got to do that. You know, that's our goal. We got to find this fucking movie, either a tape or a DVD of it. I got to get it from Chris, and we'll have a screening at the Tees. Well, I don't know if we can do it at the Tees. I don't know when. Look, I don't know when we're going to do this, and I don't know where we're going to do this. I'll tell you what. We're going to do a screening of Asylum when we locate it. Once we get a copy, we will. And as soon as we find out where, I will divulge where it's going to be, and then we will indulge in my performance. You guys can get me at mikeandmikeschmidtcomedy.com.
Oh, fuck.
You guys can be my friend at facebook.com/the40year-old boy. You can, our friend Dave Hernandez does all the music and the artwork for this show. He's an amazing talent and my good friend, perhaps my best friend. You know what? Mex is a good thing, perhaps the best of things. And you can get him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez, or you can contact him through artbydmh.com. He does all sorts of independent artwork for you guys, whatever you would want to book him for. It's amazing stuff. Go to his website and just browse and look at the great work he's done. Artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com. Always available, always ready to talk to you about working on your artwork for you. Lily Von Stoop is my great friend and also the producer of this film, and we all owe her a debt of gratitude because we've made it. We've hit the post here. Your medicine has not put you to sleep.
Not yet.
We ran downhill this week. That was beautiful. And I know you're going to think, Mike, why can't you do that every week? I know. I promise. I'll work on it. But Lily Von Stupp is our great friend and producer, and thank you so much for coming out and doing this. Let's, again, cookies for Lily. Let's get her some Thin Mints and make that happen. You can find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, and twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and request a photo of her in her rubber pants, you can get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt. Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt. Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt. Don't tell me that you haven't bought the big angry. Not yet. Buy it at your business. Look at that kick-ass art for sale. Tweaked audio just cannot fail. Buy it at your business. Hey, the Schminnick comes alive. He'll like rap or buy you one through five. Joe, oh, you're dirt. Buy it at your business.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. My voice is rough today. I think I got sand in my throat. I was at the beach yesterday. Every Monday night at Santa Monica and Vine. The 3 clubs hosts the Monday Night Teas, the greatest burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles. I happen to know the producer of that show. She's a wonderful friend, and she's sitting here in a onesie. That is my good friend Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily. How are you?
I'm not wearing a onesie.
You are wearing a onesie.
No, I'm wearing a Union Jack.
Okay. What's the difference? It's a onesie. It's a one-piece outfit that you're wearing with a butt flap.
You tell a miner that.
Dude, tell a miner?
You tell somebody working on an oil rig trying to keep warm by wearing long johns. He's wearing a onesie.
I'm going to have to tell Dean Haglund to tell them because he works with them. Okay, what are you think? You don't think I can handle one of these roughnecks in a fight? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think you would turn him in a minute.
All right. So.
Oh my God!
She's wearing like. Do they have feet? Do they have feet on them?
No.
Okay, they're pajamas.
They are not.
They got a
They're
butt
long
flap.
johns.
They totally got a butt flap though. Like you can unsnap it and there's your butt. So she's wearing that. And she actually got up to adjust the volume on my microphone earlier, and she bent over, and I was going to unsnap the snaps on the butt flap, and I had my hand over it, and I was like, oh my God, wait. And then I kept my hand over it. I'm like, did she feel my hand hovering over her butt? But she didn't, obviously, or didn't care. But I did not unbutton your buttons, did I?
No.
I did not, because I'm very respectful. But our friend Lily, today was Time Limit Lily, man. She was ill. She still is ill. I didn't cure her with the show. She was ill. Now she's better. It's amazing. I have the healing voice of Benny Hinn. So she was ill, but we love her, and she's here, and she did the Monday Night Teas. And I was at this week's Monday Night Teas. I will ask you how you thought it went.
It was good.
I thought it was really good. It was the wheel of burlesque, and all sorts of people were spinning and dancing to certain songs. And I'm going to say something right now that's going to be controversial in the burlesque world, but I don't care. I enjoyed the work of everyone. There was a Mercury Troy and a Lucille Highball. They did their dances. There was a Egypt Black Nile who basically just went, I'm going to be a stripper. She just pulled out all the stripper moves. Yeah,
Awesome.
because and our friend Dennis Taylor was great.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome.
That was really, there was a guy in that audience challenge. If you do this format again, because Lily did a thing, she spun the wheel. The way it works is a burlesque dancer spins the wheel, and then there's a song, and they have to dance to one of two songs. And Egypt Black Now got two very bad choices for her that she didn't want to do them to. So Dennis Taylor goes, spin it again. And he was in the audience. Lily looks at him and goes, oh, we have an audience challenge? Like she made it up on the fly.
Yeah.
And he looks and she goes, oh, Dennis, I'll tell you what. If you want to dance to one of these two songs, you will take her place, and then she will spin the wheel again. If you want to go ahead and come up here and dance to one of these two songs as an audience challenge and come up and strip, she goes, wait, first, are you wearing underwear?
I have to ask that question.
And he goes, I am. And she goes, you're sure? And he goes, yes. She said, all right, if you want to come up and strip to one of these songs, you will take it for her. She'll take a mulligan, and then she'll respin. And Dennis Taylor said, yes. And Dennis Taylor went up and fucking was great. He was awesome. And the only thing that could top it was Egypt Black Nile being a stripper, like right after him. And she did. She completely one-upped him. It was just this great 1-2 punch. It was fucking amazing because he was really good and had fun with it and enjoyed it. And then she went up and fucking destroyed it and then brought him back up on stage and then did stripper shit all over him, which was great. And quite frankly, Dennis Taylor deserved a standing ovation, I thought, because, so I stood up and I was like, absolutely. It was one of 2 deserved standing ovations on the night, in my opinion. Because then there was we took the break and then we came back and Bo Toxic went up and did very well. She did Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. And
There's nothing better than a little white girl doing Gangster's Paradise.
It was perfect. She rolled with it. It was so good. Bella Luna went up and was great. She got lucky because she got Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On," and she was going to do "Hurt So Good" by John Cougar, and you were like, really? And she was like, "No, Marvin Gaye." And who was the other performer in the second half? Not the last one.
Not the last one. The second to the last. But why is my mind?
Oh, Jezebel Thunder.
Yeah.
Jezebel Thunder came out and she wound up getting CNC Music Factory and she crushed it. Yeah. She was really good. Because again, these are women dancing to songs they've never danced to in a burlesque capacity before. So then the last performer was a woman named Pearl Lux. Now I've talked about Pearl Lux on this show before. She's originally from Austin. She was in the Gigawatts and she's moved here now. And she's a really good burlesque performer and she's beautiful. Got a great body, really attractive. But she's really good at burlesque and cares. Wants to be good. So she spins the wheel, and there's 2 songs that come up. One of them is "Les Freaks" by Chic, and the other one is "Call Me Maybe" by Carly Rae Jepsen. Is that her name, Carly Rae Jepsen?
Carly Rae Jepsen.
So I thought it was hysterical, and the crowd goes crazy, and Lily immediately is like, she thinks she's going to do "Les Freaks," so she's like asks Pearl Lux, and what are you going to do? And Pearl's like, I'm not sure, and she throws it to the crowd, and she's like, all right, we're going to do this. How many people want her to see you do "Les Freaks" by Chic? And yay, everybody goes crazy. And they go, how many want her to see her do "Call Me Maybe"? And I really wanted her to do "Call Me Maybe." I really wanted her to do it because that just seems like a ridiculous song to strip to. So I was like, well, yeah, I went crazy, and then and about half the crowd went crazy. So it was pretty even. So Lily's like, this is weird. She goes, that really sounded pretty even. She goes, we should give Pearl the choice. And I go, both. And Lily goes, what? And I go, both. And Lily goes, you want her to do it to both? And she goes, yeah, that's ridiculous. And she looks at Pearl Lux, and Pearl goes, I would do it to both. And Lily's like, so wait, so you would do a strip for the first one and then do a reverse strip where you put your clothes back on with the second one? And Pearl goes, I would try it. And Lily's like, fuck it. All right, let's do it. Bella's in the sound booth. Bella, whatever you play first, she'll strip to. And then whatever you play second, she's going to not strip to. All right, go ahead and do it. Boom, boom, boom. And then and "Call Me Maybe" starts. And Pearl Lux strips the "Call Me Maybe." And it's awesome. It's fucking awesome because she can do the splits and she gets up on her toes. She's like a ballerina and she's just a great dancer and a burlesque performer. And she owned it. Bless you. She owned it. God damn, it was fantastic. And did the whole song. And she's naked at the end of it, of course. And, pasties and G-string. And then immediately... freak out. And she starts dancing again and picking up her clothes and putting them back on, sexily, and to "Les Freaks" by Chic.
It was awesome.
It was fantastic because she did 2 completely different performances that were worthy of closing a show. It was fucking unbelievable. And the place was rocking, but not rocking like it should have been. I mean, they should have carried her out on her fucking shoulders because she killed it. And I think seeing 2 in a row maybe made people kind of like logy, but fuck that. I stood up. I mean, when she finished, I stood up and I went crazy because it was so deserving of standing ovation. Eddie got up too. Me and Eddie were the only 2 that were up. And I was like, oh my God, she did 2 separate headlining acts together to 2 different songs in 2 different styles of burlesque. It was fucking fantastic. And she's beautiful. To just have the balls to go, I'll do it. Let's fucking do it. And was so excited and energetic and fun and just made it great.
I was exhausted watching.
No kidding.
It was almost 9 minutes.
She didn't cheat at all. Yeah. She did every dance move. She did everything she could fucking do and was sexy and was true to burlesque. She wasn't just fucking dancing. She was true to the burlesque art. It was fucking fantastic to watch. And I loved it. I gave her a huge standing ovation. I couldn't believe it. So it was fantastic. The tease was great. I loved it. And if you do Wheel of Burlesque again, Audience Challenge has to be on the wheel. It just has to be. Because then you at least throw the offer out to people, and if they want to come up and do it, it adds this element to it where everybody was just like alive when it happened. It was such a great idea for you to do that on the fly. I loved it. So great. So it was fantastic. Now this week we've got the Monday Night Tease.
Yes.
And let me ask you: is it a theme show, a regular show? What's happening?
It is a regular burlesque show,
which is amazing. Are you hosting? Are you involved?
I am not involved. I'm trying to just get better.
Good.
Yeah. Bo Toxic is performing again. We've got a 3-girl troupe from Santa Monica. I can't remember where they're from. We got a girl from the OC, Josefina Diamante, Pretty Butte is performing. It's going to be a good show.
So great. So the tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com, as always, for all of the coming shows. Now, you have a lot of, you just announced a bunch of March, right?
Yes. We have officially announced, we have a St. Patrick's Day show that takes over the entire club. And then at the end of the month, we are doing the Boobies Burlesque, which is a Goonies Burlesque parody.
That's great. So that's the end of the month. Tickets are on sale for that.
Yeah.
Now, there was another show announced Monday. Is that official?
It's not official.
I will
yet.
keep it quiet.
You can talk about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're bringing the Muppets back.
Doing the Muppet Show tribute, and they're doing it on the 24th of March, and it's coinciding with the release of the movie.
Yep.
So it's a Muppet strip show. It's fucking amazing. And will Dizzy be in town for that? Is she going to do her?
Dizzy is.
See? Good. Smart. All right. That's going to be great. So those tickets are available now at brownpapertickets.com. The Muppet Show of Burlesque is March 24th. The March 31st show is the Boobies, which is the Goonies Burlesque parody. And then
Tarantino is down at the Yost. That's 2/3 sold out already.
Yost Theater in Santa Ana. If you want to go, you got to get tickets. YostTheater.com or brownpapertickets.com. They are available right there. But I would go to YostTheater.com and pick them up through there.
That will definitely be the last time we do Tarantino.
All right, this is the final
only reason I
Tarantino.
brought that back is because the Yost is such an amazing theater, and it's just a shame not to put that show on a huge stage.
Yeah, so it's going to be amazing to watch. That's March 22nd. I am hosting that show, so come on out and check it out. And, like I said, the burlesque shows, we got the Muppet Show coming up. We've got the Boobies, the Goonies show. And the St. Patrick's Day, let's talk a little bit more about that, because you're getting the whole club. Not just, if you go to the bar, if you go to the 3 clubs, there's a front bar, and then there's the back bar where they do the burlesque. But on St. Patrick's night, the entire room is the Monday Night Teas. So it's $15 for tickets for the show, and then it's $40 if you want to have all you can drink.
Yeah.
So for $55,
Yeah.
you can see the burlesque show, you can drink all night, and you can get put in a fucking Uber or a cab. Oh, Uber. Let's talk. I'll give the Uber code later, but you can.
I
Yeah.
give it now.
All right. Well, if you want to do that, you can go ahead and call Uber, because they're a sponsor of this show,
Uber's
sort
a
of.
sponsor-ish?
Uber has all lowercase. If you book an Uber, use the code D21UI. That's That's DUI21. You were right. You solved that. Goddamn, they're smart. D21UI, and that believe me, that night it'll be appropriate, because you'll be loaded after $40 all you can drink. Just get plowed and watch naked chicks, and then have Uber take you home. That's at St. Patrick's Day show, and it's available now. And it's worth it to join the Monday Night Teas page just to see the flyer for the St. Patrick's Day show.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer that's going to stay up.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sure Facebook's going to have me pull that.
if I was you, I would go and check out the flyer for the St. Patrick's Day show, because it is absolutely. Lily wrote me and she just went, wow, I just got the picture for the flyer for the St. Patrick's show. And I'm like, okay. And I saw it. I went, oh my God. So go join the Facebook.com/Monday Night Teas page, and you will see the flyer for the St. Patrick's Day show, because it is incredible. Buy the tickets. All available now at brownpapertickets.com. March 22nd, which is a Saturday, at the Yost Theater in Santa Ana, the Tarantino Burlesque show. Tickets available for that. And already 2/3 sold out. So if you want tickets, get them. Go to Facebook.com/40-year-old-boy, the 40-year-old boy. Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy, and that's me. Hi. And if you want to go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page, we got plenty of stuff there that's cool for you. We've got, of course, the Schmitty Comes Alive download. We've got the Big Angry CD that I will personalize and sign to you. I just sent a couple off this week, as a matter of fact, and I sent a Yurt Dirt Dirt shirt off as well. Those are available in any sizes. You can shop through Amazon through my link. Click on the pennant and get through and go to the Amazon store, and we get credit for that. That's cool of you. Thank you. TweakedAudio.com/40 is a promoter of this show. They've definitely sponsored us for a long time, and they're really cool and great. So if you want any product from them, go ahead and get it. Autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds, cock ring watches, all available over there. Don't forget to look at the gear. We have artwork available too that's signed by me, Lily, and David Hernandez. And he created it. He's a genius. And then we will send it to you. Now, I will tell a special note now to Mick from Australia. I have not returned your email yet. I know your choice of artwork, but I got to write you and talk to you about stuff. But so please know that it hasn't been shipped yet. But as soon as because it's got to be shipped to Australia, and it's a lot of dough, and I got to talk to him and see whatever the fuck. We'll figure it out. So Mick, and he's really cool. He's followed me on Twitter. He favorites my stuff. He's a great guy. So I don't want to think I'm neglecting him, but I'm literally talking to you through your iPod. Yes, that's right. This is like a phone call to you, Mick. I'm calling you right now. Hey, you're in Australia? Is anywhere near Mexico? Call Andy. Or you know what? Check if you have HBO Plus in Australia, and see if I say crikey a lot when I'm making fun of these inmates in the asylum. So Mick, I'll get a hold of you. But there's artwork. Again, there's the the downloads. There's the year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5 of this show, or the You Want a Evil box set. A couple of people bought those this week. Thank you so much. And so thank you everybody for stepping up, and we do appreciate you buying it and supporting the show. And you can donate to the show too. I don't mention this a lot. Up in the upper left-hand corner of the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out, and a lot of you know about this page because you donated when the struts happened, and we were all saving my car. Thank you so much. But you can click on that and donate money to the show, and it goes toward the show, and we fold it all back in, and hopefully we'll be doing some live stuff. I have an announcement on that coming up in the coming weeks, so that's going to be great. But donate to the show. All donations are always appreciated. You can donate a one-time donation or subscribe to the show for $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. I always appreciate your donations. And now, I'll tell you this, folks. Normally I'd do something and I'd tell you something else and we'd ramp out and we'd do something where I go ahead and rant about something, but I can't. I have an appointment. I've got to go punch a paper towel and a Snickers. I have to go do that right now. But no, with Time Limit Lily, there's no sense in doing that. There's no point. Yeah, that's right. Time Limit Lily. Because you're sitting there in your onesie and you want to go bed and crawl back into bed, and I don't blame you because you know what, you're sick and you know I'm sitting here and I don't want to get sick. So the point that I'm even here and I went ahead and ran downhill. I'm trying to do the best I can right now to run downhill. See what I'm doing right now? I'm just going ahead and talking about whatever the fuck comes out of my head. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. I'm human lunch meat. I'm nobody. I'm baloney in pants. God damn it. Why do I think I'm somebody special? Why do I think I'm anybody interesting? I'm not. All I bring to the table is everything that everybody else does, but louder. Don't hit snooze on me, motherfucker. I am a hilarious noise machine. I'm going to tell you this. You need to sit down and reevaluate your life if you can pull 2 midget Indian wrestlers out of your skull at any time. You know what? I don't even need you people here. Seriously, I do this. I love me. I don't give a fuck what you think, how you think. God damn it, I'm the greatest. I can't go for Schmidt. No, no. No can do. 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 No can do.